The question is, how did these guys get here? They are the New Jersey Devils, and a lot of people are asking them that same question. Their response, just get ready for another night of work on the ice. This is what the fans here in Philadelphia have to say. They certainly haven't given up yet, and the war is on here at the Spectrum. Game 2 tonight. The New Jersey Devils and the Philadelphia Flyers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne. Welcome to the Spectrum tonight. The Devils won Game 1. They've now won 5 in a row in the playoffs. They've given up only 1 goal in each of the last 4 games. Bill Clement, that obviously includes the last one where the Legion of Doom got doomed.
Gary, the Devils did a perfect job of shutting down the most dominant line in hockey, the Legion of Doom. But at this stage of the hockey season, your best players have to be and play their best. That did not happen for the Flyers in Game 1. All 3 of these guys, Leclerc, Lindros, and Renberg, have said, we got more, and we're going to give it here in Game 2. But the Flyers want to make a couple of changes here in Game 2. Changes from the way they played in Game 1. First of all, when the big hits are delivered, and Eric Lindros delivered enough of them in Game 1, where's the second man? They want puck support. They want somebody to come in and pick up the puck. They also don't want to get into battles with number 4, Scott Stevens. They really feel, and I think rightfully so, if they lose their focus by getting involved in the battles, while they may be winning the battles, the war kind of slips away. So they got to be careful.
Well, I'll tell you something. All we've heard about is the trap of the Devils, the trap of the Devils. Sal Morganti.
Well, Gary, we've heard so much. If they do move that or change the name of the team to the Trappers, but the Flyers have to worry about a bigger trap. If the Devils get 2 ahead, this could become a steel cage trap for the Flyers to get out of. Now, you might think the way to get through this, all a fiery speech and emotional play. No, according to Coach Terry Murray, patience is the key and misdirection to getting through the trap. You fight patience with patience. Gary?
I'll tell you, Al, that first line of the Doom was played together 42 games. The last game was only the 3rd one where they didn't get a point. Can this cup be won by a team that has a 23-year-old netminder when his name is Martin Brodeur? The answer may be yes.
Welcome back. It's John Saunders along with Mike Milbury and Barry Melrose, and welcome to Game number 2, our exclusive coverage here on ESPN. And we expected a hard-hitting affair in this series. Already started that way in Game 1.
Things started to get chippy when the score was out of control, and surprisingly, it was the Devils that got it started. First of all, it was Scott Stevens with a really illegal but a very dangerous hit. And as soon as the captain saw that, Lindros said, well, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. Right at him. And then even Martin Brodeur got in. What? The weed whacker. There he goes, right on Dion. And so we looked at that, and I think the first impression you might have is it's going to be a really physical game, and the Flyers will come out and do what the old Philly Flyers did, the Broad Street Bullies. I don't think so. I think Terry Murray knows that's going to get him nowhere.
See, I think they should. I think they beat the Rangers with emotion and passion. I thought they were more passionate than the Rangers. They got to do that again. They got to get those big bodies. They got them playing fast. And don't be stupid. Don't take chances, but get that emotion and the passion those young guys have.
Not a game for the faint of heart tonight in Game number 2. We want to remind you we'll be back between periods to bring you all the updates. Look ahead to the Western Conference as well. And Game number 3 of the Western Conference right here on ESPN tomorrow night. Detroit at Chicago. But straight ahead, it's the Eastern Conference. Stevens and Lindros. Will they collide?
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Dodge. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge. By McDonald's. Have you had your break today? And by the Pepsi-Cola Company, who reminds you that nothing else is a Pepsi.
Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The winner moves on to the Stanley Cup Finals here at Philadelphia. The second game here, the Devils having won the first one 4-1 and just missed getting the shutout. And we are underway. Lindros' line will be out there to start it with Renberg and Leclerc. You look at the Devils and what they've done on the road. 6-1 this year, 12-5 on the road in the playoffs over the last 2 years. They have been a devastating road team. They've outscored the opposition this year 25-9 on the road. There are no changes in the personnel playing in this game from game 1. Same folks. Brodeur and Hextall will be in. Brodeur taking it back in behind the net. Wrap around up and off the glass. The only difference is Peter Swoboda, who's going to be out of the lineup for Philadelphia. We'll have another defenseman in there, but in net, as you would expect, not going to change here.
No, and Martin Brodeur gets such good protection in front. That road graphic, I think, is significant because the Devils are even a more patient team on the road than they are at home. Ron Hextall wants to at least repeat his performance of game 1, cut down his goals against average, but he did not have a bad outing. But when the Devils played their game on the road with Brodeur behind them, everybody kind of looks bad.
Peter Swoboda is going to be out of the lineup with a neck strain suffered in that last game, so Zettler will be in on defense. Rob Zettler playing in his first ever playoff game in the National Hockey League. Stevens has it. Reversing around the boards. Lemieux, Broten, and Richer out there for the Devils. The first line still out there for Philadelphia with Eric Lindros at center. Near side, Kevin Haller drops it off. Leclerc knocks it down. Leclerc moving it in. Leclerc taken out of the play by Stevens. Renberg picks it up. Michael Renberg comes around to the near side, and it's cleared out the center by Richer. Here comes Lemieux. Lemieux shot high over the right shoulder. Desjardins got a piece of that from behind. Behind the net, Richer was waiting. Hextall didn't see him. Looking in front, shot right through Hextall's legs. Hextall wandered behind the net and did not realize Richer was already there. Dumped in by Lindros. Ripped up by Tommy Avalanche.
Richer thought he scored. He raised his stick.
He'd gone right through the crease with it as Hextall was just coming around from the back of the net. Therrien goes back on the touch-up. That is not the kind of thing Terry Murray wants to see his Flyers start doing again.
No, Gary, but he has seen one thing positive. The Flyers came up the ice and beat the trap. Okay, that's positive. Now all the Flyers got to do is concentrate on a little Team D, because you're right, Ron Hextall did not see Richer standing behind the net, and Richer centered it out. Somebody got a poke at it beside the net. Was it Lemieux? Yep, Claude Lemieux was able to burrow his way in, and before Ron Hextall smothered it, he jammed it between his legs with Broten sitting in the crease. But Richer went behind, made a smart play by not yelling for the puck. If he yells for it, Ron Hextall knows he's there.
Yeah, and he just stood there, and you saw Hextall actually jump a little bit. He was startled when he turned around and ran right into 44. Brought back out Niedermeyer, jammed it away to center, knocked away from Haller. Guerin picks it out. Billy Guerin, who had 2 goals in game 1. Drops it, cuts to the net, couldn't get it back to Guerin, who wheeled in behind. McTavish takes him off the play. The rookie picks it up, they started up ice. Dropped out through center by Therrien. Behind the play, Guerin and McTavish are still going at it. Niedermeyer poke-checked it away, tried to get it back up to the point, swung around, a delayed whistle. Guerin and McTavish are still being separated.
Boy, Craig McTavish is really trying to lead this team. He has had 2 solid hits already, one of them on Billy Guerin. This is really the voice of reason, this experienced veteran. And he said yesterday, when all the Flyers were reflecting on that terrible loss in game 1, he said, when you lose a game like this, it's easy to overanalyze. It might be as simple as just us not executing, and I'm with Craig McTavish. This time of the season, you better not overanalyze. You're going to try to correct it. You know, the Flyers finished first in the division, not the New Jersey Devils, and the Flyers beat this trap a number of times this season.
They beat the Devils 3 out of 4 games themselves.
And the Devils played their trap all season long, so it isn't as if they faced anything new in game 1.
There will be matching minors picked up here by Guerin and McTavish for the pushing and shoving going on. Each of them go for the roughing at 155. Let's check in with El Morganti.
Well, Gary, we see Andy Van Hellemond has made it to this round. If you remember, he was the subject of controversy, a fine from the league for a call he made in New York, kind of reprimanded, and he's one of 6 who've made it to this round, so obviously not that big a deal. And most of the players, I will say, backed up Andy Van Hellemond in that incident in which he made what the league called an incorrect call in the Rangers series.
Dan Shakty and Wayne Bonney are working with him, Al, in tonight's game. He was the backup referee for game 1. John Chambers takes it behind the net. Bruce Driver is defensive companion right there. Rod Brendamore continues to lead the Flyers in scoring in the playoffs with 12 points, 4 goals. Kevin Haller, John Leclerc picked up goals here. A lot of the D have done work for Philadelphia. John Leclerc, though, it has been an off couple of games thus far for him, as he's not been able to put anything by Brodeur and has not had many chances to boot.
No, Ron, Eric Lindros really in game one could have used John LeClair or Michael Renberg to be close to him. Everybody said, you know, when Lindros went around hitting, the Devils knew they had the Flyers' focus broken, which is true. But when you're a star player and nothing's working, you look into your bag of tools. When all that's left is the hitting tool, you use it. But that's when your teammates have to get in your jet stream and follow you to the big hit.
Yep, they did not do that. Terrian lost it. Driver picked it up over to Stevens. In game one, that Legion of Doom line, LeClair did not even have a shot. Lindros got a couple of shots. They came in the last minute of the game. Renberg ended up with 3 shots in the game. They did not have a point. As we said in the open, that is only the 3rd time since this line started playing together that they have gone a game without a point in some 43 games that they have now worked together. Devils at center ice, taking away Renberg momentarily. Stevens got it back. Terry Murray said this morning, this is what he wants. We've got to force the puck. We've got to force it in our offensive zone to get chances. Now you see Lindros doing it. You see Renberg doing it behind the net. Renberg tied up to Lindros. Lindros had a man open in the middle. Back to Yaskevich. Comes back to Lemieux. Here's what you've got to be careful of when you're doing that. Lemieux shot into the glove of Hextall. And he will get a whistle with Neal Broten moving in, and Hextall gets the stick up a little. And Lemieux's at it already, hanging on to Kevin Haller's stick. There was no love lost before this series started, and nothing changed in game one, and it sure isn't going to change in game two. Just underway, first period, full house at the Spectrum, no score.
No score yet, but positives for the Flyers. They are finding ways to beat the trap. Here's what you do. One side to the other very quickly, and the trap will follow you. Right? The trap followed. Flyers move the play up. You stop it right here. There's a seam here. You got to get it through the seam before the trap really follows. See all 5 Devils on the right side of the ice. Flyers got it through to the weak side, the open side. You got to do it quickly. They did it quickly.
And that's what Terry Murray went through with this team in a long blackboard session with videotape on the day off yesterday. He said, I think we connected on 3 passes in game one. We hit on some passes we can beat the trap. Behind the net, knocked away from Renberg. Niedermeyer got it back over to his defensive partner. Down they go on the far side. Richer got dumped over there. LeClair, he's playing the body big. That freed the puck up. Shot in. Brodeur the save. He did not see that come through. Shot by Kevin Haller, knocked away by Brodeur, and the Flyers already have put more pressure on Brodeur than they did in the whole of game one.
And John LeClair has already outmuscled more people in 2 or 3 shifts than he did in the entire game one, and so has Renberg.
They are working hard in this game. McTavish sends it in. Niedermeyer comes back to get it. Both teams changing. The Flyers changing with a vengeance. Bankhouse came off the bench, just flying, intended for Guerin, too far ahead. Hextall's got to play it. Guerin got there and blocked it right back to Hextall. No whistle. He had to drop it off. Andy Van Hellemond saw no red around him that time. Dineen couldn't get it. Sergei Brylin held that one in and paid for it. Back to the line. Brendamore was able to force that deep. Driver comes back in his own end. Up to Brylin. Sergei Brylin had a good game one, ran into his own man. Brylin banks it off the boards. The Devils running around a little bit right now. Zelepukin's got it. Larry Zelepukin starts it up to Guerin. Guerin, Brylin, Zelepukin. Just missed Billy Guerin. He ripped that one on the stick side and didn't miss by much. Miles' pass goes wide. It'll be an icing call if the Devils get there first, and Chambers will to get the whistle.
Oh, look out. Here we go. That is Kevin Dineen in the corner with Sean Chambers. And no questions asked from Sean Chambers. Remember, last game, in game one, Chambers got drilled into the boards the very first shift of the game by Eric Lindros. Took the hit. This time, Kevin Dineen tried to rough him up, and Chambers said, ain't going to happen.
The one thing that the Flyers did not do, and you hear it in all sports all the time, and that is outwork the Devils. The Devils outwork them.
And Gary, the body follows the mind.
Yeah.
After an 8-day layoff, I'm a complete believer that it's next to impossible to come out ready to play a playoff game, especially when you've played the New York Rangers at a high tempo, and you know you're going to have to play a team at a grinding tempo. So the body follows the mind. That's why it wasn't there in game one. Here's John LeClair out-muscling Scott Niedermeyer, making the play along the boards to Semenov. But this line, LeClair, he wasn't out there with the Legion of Doom on this one, but that's where these guys are at their best. The Legion of Doom is down low, in behind the net. Here's the last sequence between Dineen and Chambers. Well, Kevin Dineen started that with a pretty good left to the face of Sean Chambers. The Flyers want to force the issue of this stuff in the corner, sure, but they don't want to lose their focus. They felt that as it got worse and worse in game one with the frustration level, that they forgot about the game and got taken away into the little battles, and they realized if they don't focus, they're going to lose the war.
There's Scott Stevens, who was part of that war. You'll remember he took some hits that were questionable in some people's mind, looked like they were going down around people's knees. Terry Murray, who was a coach in Washington when Scott Stevens was there, stood up for Scott Stevens and said, I have never known him to go out and try and injure anybody. Yep. Said, I don't think he was trying to do that when he went down. He was trying to throw hip checks, and maybe they were too low, but he said, I don't say anything against him for what he did.
Boy, Scott Stevens was huge in Game 1. Yeah. You know, with the Legion of Doom line being wound up here for Game 2, he may even have to be bigger here tonight.
Darian Yuskevich, the defensive pairing here for the Flyers. Dmitry Yuskevich off the boards. DeMaio got it into the zone. Driver was back there. DeMaio batted it away. Played in behind the net by Scott Stevens. Stevens coming into this game for the Devils with a goal, 3 assists, but playing at a +5 in the playoffs this season. Only 1 goal picked up by Philadelphia in that Game 1, and that was towards the final moments of the game. Here are the hits we were talking about, all on one shift.
Yeah, I think Scott Stevens got the idea with the first hit on John LeClair that it was a pretty good play because he had not hit anybody before that hit on LeClair. And then seconds later, Sean Antosky tried to take him. Boom. Antosky went down, and then LeClair almost got hit again. But see, this penalty here, match penalty should be imposed on any player who deliberately attempts to injure an opponent. There's nothing written in the rule book about hitting below the waist. So unless the referee deems that Scott Stevens intentionally tried to injure either LeClair or Antosky, there is no penalty against doing that.
Because of Darius Kasparaitis and what many feel are attempts to injure at the knees, there's going to be an attempt to have a rule put in somehow to deal with that in the offseason.
It'd be a good rule.
Yeah. There's no, I mean, as Terry Murray said, look, this is entertainment. You got to keep your stars out there in the ice. You can't have people injured if people are trying to do it to people's knees. So we'll see what happens in the off-season rules. But right now, there's a lot of talking going on. Tommy Avalon just took a pretty good shot to the face.
You know, it's hard to tell if Eric Lindros really noticed a huge difference without the face shield. Avalon wears one, Lindros doesn't, and Game 1 was Lindros' first game of the playoffs without his shield. You see the hits in Game 1. I mean, Eric tried to lead the way, but he carried the puck so infrequently in Game 1, there's no telling if he was any better without his shield or not. The Devils shut everybody down.
That's Tommy Avalon he just hit.
This is something that the Flyers have decided to do too, Gary. There's so many holdups or screenouts. See this? When players are being hooked back, when you're trying to forecheck and somebody's hooking you back, if they're not going to call the hook, the Flyers want to try and break away from the hook with a couple of smacks to the head like that.
And hope they don't get the penalty in doing that. And stay out of the box. 4-on-4 situation here with the matching minors. There's Broten. Broten wheeling back in his own end as 2 Flyers on him. Gets it up to Richer. Richer, Broten trying to move it up. Richer just circling back in his own end. They're ragging it here, but they're not short-handed. Back in the middle of Broten. Interesting way to skate in a 4-on-4. Broten will gun it in wide of Hextall. Richer on the far side had gone by the rebound. Driver couldn't knock it in. On the Philly, Semenoff got it. Semenoff coming to LeClair in the middle. Semenoff looking. Crooked it to LeClair. Went behind him. Brodeur the save. Yuskevich was the trailer and got the backhand shot off. Good save by Brodeur, who has come up big here in this first period. Flyers had some good chances. McLean took a man down. Dykhouse no call. LeClair starts the other way. His save made when LeClair shot from the blue line. The other thing Terry Murray said we told our players, shoot. Shot by Lemieux. Save made by Hextall. John McLean was reaching.
Martin Brodeur can't stop that kind of shot. What a play, though, Eric Desjardins made at center. Just to nudge it up right there. He nudged it up to Kevin Dineen to avoid a 2-line pass. Kevin Dineen with a nice cross-ice pass to Eric Lindros. You know, I said if Martin Brodeur can see it, he'll stop it. Lindros really let that one fly. It was by Brodeur before he could react, but Brodeur actually looked like he was going down, trying to take away the lower portion of the net. Lindros saw him go, zinged it up high, 1-0 Flyers.
The Flyers have listened to Terry Murray, and they are executing and working to get it done. Zettler sends it in the other way. Eric Lindros gets the goal. 1-0 lead. That's the third of the playoffs for Lindros, and a penalty coming up here. No, just the icing call. So the Flyer fans who sat quietly for most of the last game are cheering here, and there is a penalty against Peluso of the Devils. A 1-0 lead. Lindros from Dineen and Desjardins at 7:08.
Boy, the little things mean so much in the playoffs. We're going to get a better look at that Desjardins play right here. See how he deflected it up to Kevin Dineen so that Dineen would avoid the two-line pass because Dineen was headed across the center red line. Great play by Lindros. The great one's in the skates, out of the skates, up to the stick, to the shooting position, and then bang, he never even stopped it with his stick.
His third of the playoffs. Remember, this is his first season in the Stanley Cup playoffs. For Eric Lindros, Hextall back to get it behind the net. Mike Peluso picked up the penalty on the tripping call, so Philadelphia goes on the power play. They have struggled on it, as you see right there. The Devils' penalty killers have been outstanding. Philadelphia's power play at home, a disaster right now. 2 for 34 at home. The Devils have killed off 17 straight power plays by the opposition during the playoffs. Flyers went 0 for 4 in Game 1 against New Jersey. They've got the 1-0 lead. Lindros out there in the power play unit working back at a point. Driver sends it the other way. Iskevich and Lindros are working a point on this power play, but you can see not much confidence in the power play. Brendamore starts it up by Broten. Brendamore sends it in. There's Niedermeyer hanging on to Dineen. Picked up. Stevens couldn't get it out. 2-on-1 down low. Brendamore's pass intercepted. Philadelphia had a man open. Iskevich again cutting in from that right point, all alone in the middle. Niedermeyer sends it.
Gary, it was Iskevich that jumped up on the play a couple of minutes ago and turned it into a 3-on-2. You could tell early who really has the jump and who really has the legs. The Flyers were not able to get their defensemen up on any plays in Game 1 because there was no rush.
Flyers are out shooting the Devils 5-2 early on. They struggled in that department in Game 1. Cleared up by Brodeur. Desjardins got to come back to center to get it. Drop it off while the Flyers get onside. Philadelphia's power play during the regular season was 8th best in the league and next to last among the playoff teams right now. Lindros could not handle that one. Tom Chorsky over to get it. Chorsky sends it out. Leclerc got a piece. Desjardins at his own blue line. Lindros trying to wind it up. Lindros in. 3 red move over on him. Lindros centered. It bounced over Renberg's stick. Desjardins came down to cover, batted away. Broten, Renberg picked it up. Broten got it back. Broten moving it out. Broten wants to try it short-handed. Couldn't. Desjardins tied him up. Good play by Desjardins. Back to Dykhouse, and the penalty is over. And an offside two-line pass right there, so they do not convert on the power play. 0 for 1, but they've got a 1-0 lead. Our coverage of the National Hockey League Conference Finals. Our exclusive coverage on ESPN will be continuing with the Western Conference games. The Red Wings take on Chicago tomorrow at 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific. They'll be playing in Game 3, moving to Chicago. Detroit's got a 2-0 lead in that one. We'll be back with you with the New Jersey Devils, Philadelphia Flyers for the Eastern Conference Championship game. That will be coming up Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, from the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Boy, did Mike Peluso ever jar John Leclerc when John Leclerc didn't see him coming out of the penalty box. And that's, even if you don't hit him that hard, it jars your teeth, your jaw, and everything because you're not ready for it. It's as if he just dropped out of the air because you're not expecting him to come out.
A penalty right off the face-off. Looks like Craig McTavish is going to get it. And it is Andy Van Hellemond not letting anything start here. Bobby Olik, this is a spearing call. Bobby Olik got speared, so McTavish is probably going for 5 here. Nope, double minor. Instead of the 5, he gave him 2 and 2.
The choices are 2, a double minor, which is 4, or 5. And the Flyers found themselves somewhere in the middle in that one because of Andy Van Hellemond's call.
Right off the face-off. Andy Van Hellemond's going to call this one close by the looks of it.
Right center of the ice, right on the face-off as the puck is being dropped. McTavish. There's a swat by McTavish. And it almost looked like McTavish was going for the hook and didn't get the blade of his stick around Holy. Got it right in the midsection. There you are. Once you're on the bench and the penalty has been handed out, you ain't faking it anymore. You're trying to get your wind back.
Ted Shook, the trainer, putting the little heave-ho on Bobby Olik. And Craig McTavish, the veteran playoff player on this Flyers team, goes into the penalty box on a double minor. So here's a big chance for the New Jersey Devils. They've got the power play going in the playoffs, third best in the playoffs. Penalty coming for Philadelphia has been good. Desjardins clears it out.
The exact opposite for the Devils. Not much of a special teams, really, performance during the regular season. And it's true, this is a brand new season because the Devils have turned it around and the Flyers have just disappeared with the power play.
Devils power play was 23rd during the regular season. You imagine that, and here in the playoffs they've been 1 through 3 for all of it. Devils on the power play, could not control, cleared out again. The length of the ice. Chambers will come back to get it. New Jersey's power play on the road, 7th for 24. That is second best as well in the playoffs. Vreeland couldn't handle it near side. Dykhouse batted it away. Dropped back to Dykhouse from Brendan Moore, and he ups it. Tommy Avalon working a point in the power play. Got leveled by DeMaio. Rob DeMaio came up on him, forced the cup. 3. Took a couple of hits. Tommy Avalon finally comes away with it. Near side for Chambers, who works the point. Avalon works it in for Richer. Richer had it batted away. 1-0 lead for the Flyers. 9:24 to go here in the first. A double minor on McTavish has given the opportunity to the New Jersey Devils in the extended power play. Dykhouse able to clear it up. It's only the second time in 12 playoff games this year the Devils have not scored first. And with their slow-down trap game, they love to get the lead. They are a much better team when they can do it that way. Broten back up to the point. Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer to Broten. Broten looking. Got 3 up along the line. Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer the shot wide. Trying to get a deflection out in front. Randy McKay is set up in front. Niedermeyer to him again. McKay backhands it wide. Rebound. Hextall got it. Richer was there for the second chance at the side of the net. Good strong work by Ron Hextall.
Yeah, Ron Hextall's talking to Andy Van Hellemond. I don't know what he's saying. Maybe give me a little more help in here. They were interfering with me, but Randy McKay was clearly outside of the crease. And I didn't see what happened. It looked like Richer had a pretty clear swipe at it.
I thought he batted it towards him and didn't get it up in the air, but I'm not sure.
Randy McKay has pretty good hands for a tough guy. That's why he's in front, and he's hard to move. Well, that caromed off 2 people on the way to the net, and that's why Ron Hextall stopped that. What a great save by Ron Hextall. Watch him come down with the paddle of his stick. Right there, mister. Oh! How about it? This is it. See, the double carom is what threw everybody off. Ron Hextall was moving over, trying to play the first carom, and then it went off Dykhouse right to Richer.
Still 2:16 remaining, 2:18 remaining on this power play for the Devils. Sergei Vreeland and Rod Brind'Amour will be out to take the faceoff. Hextall comes into this game with a 2.53 goals against in the playoffs. That's 4th best, and he's 4th in save percentage as well. Niedermeyer the shot. Hextall the save again. And no rebound on that one.
You know, Jacques Lemaire was asked yesterday what the Flyers could do to help themselves, and he said, you know what they can do? Score a quick goal. Then the tempo changes with them holding the lead, and the Flyers did exactly what Jacques Lemaire recommended they do if they wanted to kind of stabilize things.
I can't think of a team in the NHL where that's more applied than the Devils. I mean, they are a team, get the 1 or 2 goals against you, and they're almost impossible to get. But boy, if they fall behind, they don't have any offensive depth to generate goals.
And it still doesn't mean that the Devils are going to change the way they play. They seem to stay in the trap. And, you know, they could fall behind 2 or 3, and Jacques Lemaire says, be patient, be patient. But it seems to lift the team up that's playing against them. The Devils' frustration level doesn't seem to seep into your game. And if you're the Flyers, they were a frustrated team in Game 1.
Yeah, very much so. Niedermeyer dropped that one back into the middle. Vreeland up to John McLean. McLean for Vreeland cutting. Looking for Niedermeyer, who came into the play. Now back to McLean. Lindros was there to knock it down. Eric Lindros around Sergei Vreeland. They're getting fight off Guerin, who got the stick in on him. That's the kind of call many people say has got to be made to open the game up more. Clearly a hooking call and a holding call all season long, the kind of thing that teams like the Devils rely on to shut down an opponent's offense. Guerin bangs it around the boards. Shot back in by Driver. That's Guerin. Guerin off for John McLean. Couldn't get all of that pass. Brind'Amour picks it up looking for Lindros short-handed. Just a little far in front. Brodeur came out and tapped it away. How's that for cool and calm? Lindros cruising in on you, and Brodeur just kind of one-handed that one off the boards. Driver clears it ahead to Richer. Power play still has 1:04 left. Center! Score! Great centering pass in front, and Randy McKay is having himself some kind of playoff season. He ties this game in a power play goal.
Boy, isn't that the truth. Craig McTavish makes the long skate out of the penalty box. It was the spear that he had on Bobby Holik that gave the Devils the double minor, but Randy McKay may have some of the most underrated skill in the NHL. I'll tell you, Ron Hextall is going nuts at something, pointing up at the scoreboard. And here's Bruce Driver to Richer. Excellent play back and forth between Richer and Neal Broten. Boy, oh boy.
He's saying McKay was in the crease before the puck. And it was close. You cannot precede the puck into the crease. You're an offensive player.
Right.
And it sure looked like McKay was in there.
Maybe they are going to review, but that's not a reviewable situation.
No. That is not one of those that can be reviewed. It may be added to the list, but it's not now.
And Gary, it's the hardest one for somebody like Andy Van Hellemond to call because McKay is on the drive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as if he's standing there so you can take a quick look and say, oh, skate in. McKay was headed that way. More times than not, they just go ahead and allow it.
Yes, that's right. Randy McKay, his first 39 playoff games, had 2 goals. This year, 11 playoff games, he's already got 5.
There's a look at it. You know what? It looked like his stick had made contact with the puck before his skates got in there. That's a good goal.
That's a good goal. This is after the goal.
He couldn't get anybody to listen to him either.
Somebody listen to me.
And you know what he's pointing at? There was a replay up on the big screen here, and that's what Ron Hextall was hoping that he could get reviewed, but maybe he was arguing that it went in off his skate. Now, did it go off the blade or did it go off the skate?
Now, that's reviewable. It goes
absolutely.
And they can, you know, the referee, remember, does not have to call up in the National Hockey League to have those issues reviewed by the video replay judge. They can look at them on their own, but obviously they had plenty of time to do that there. That's why Andy Van Hellemond, I think, was kind of skating around before he dropped the puck to give him a chance to look at it again, and obviously nobody called down. So it's a 1-1 game on the goal by McKay from Richer and Broten. 12:32 in the power play. They were into the second penalty, so the Flyers are back at full strength. Lindros and McKay have the goals. 1-1 first period. Anatoly Semenov moves it in. Semenov going to the corner, puts the bump on Chambers, who retaliates in the same way. Gilbert Dion back to him, banged it up. Brodeur gave it the baseball swing, didn't get much of it. Loose right behind the net. Chambers came back to get it. Over to Randy McKay. McKay sends it, trying to hit Peluso, who was cutting. Could be an icing call here as it goes wide of the net, and they will get the whistle with Terrien on the touch. 6:24 to go, first period of Game 2, the Eastern Conference Championship.
Randy McKay is not only playing well, he is hot offensively right now. Cut to the net and really, here, we're going to show you this play again because we've been able to isolate it. Watch this, okay? We stop right here. Check it out. That's Randy McKay's stick, and it is clearly in contact with the puck, and the stick and the puck look like they got into the crease ahead of the skate blade. So close, but a good goal.
Perfect pass.
Yes, it was.
That's what that ends up being.
And that back and forth between...
Oh, the left player missed it wide. Lindros tried to jam it, couldn't. Renberg, penalty coming up, the late call on the Devils. Dykhouse dumps it into the corner. Chasing it for Lindros, but it's batted over. And here in the near side, LeClaire getting into it with Ken Daneyko. A penalty has already been called on the Devils.
And I think it's on Daneyko.
It's a high sticking call. So Philadelphia is going to get another power play chance.
Jacques Lemaire has Kenny Daneyko paired with Scott Stevens, his 2 biggest, roughest, toughest guys. Anytime Eric and the Legionnaires are out there, Lindros with Renberg and LeClaire.
Lindros was out for 18 even strength shifts last game, and Stevens was out there for 17 of those 18.
Look at Scott Stevens. He is ready to play the body every time he steps on the ice. Kenny Daneyko pushed Eric Lindros down. That was the call. No, that's the call. I'm still looking for it, I think. No, that was it right there. Got his stick up on him. That's the call right there on Eric Lindros.
So Daneyko goes high sticking. 13:48, second power play of the game for the Flyers. Devils have now killed off 18 consecutive power plays of the opposition. Philadelphia gets another chance at it. Game tied at 1-1. Lindros, a shot right off the draw. Save Brodeur, rebound, Luton, shot, score! Lindros, I believe. Maybe Renberg. Both of them batted at it on the second chance.
You know, the most underrated thing that this Legion of Doom brings to the ice surface, for their size, they're exceptionally quick. And when you get them into tight situations, they'll not only overpower you, but they'll do things quickly. Eric Lindros spun around, got rid of the shot. Brodeur could not control the rebound. Lindros with another one. Renberg quickly to the net. Yeah, this is where the Legion of Doom could not get to in Game 1, inside the hash marks, whether it was on a power play or even strength. They have been dominant inside the hash marks in Game 2 so far. You can't stop them when they get down low.
Ken Daneyko had that penalty, and it didn't take long for the conversion. In low, McKay just missed that one. Brendamore picks it up. 2-1. Flyers lead on a power play goal. Picked up by Renberg. McKay jammed up hard on the near side, right against the board. Yuskevich came up and hit him. Dumped into the middle, intended for Deneen, batted down by the Devils. Dropped off to McKay. McKay trying to move it ahead, can't. Niedermeyer couldn't pick it up. Puck sticking. Laid up ahead again. They're just batting it out of the air now as Deneen did it again. Deneen sends it down low. Faced into the corner, Brendamore. Brendamore avoiding the hit. Peluso moves over on him. Hooked up to the near side boards, then right back behind the net. Good pressure here. Brendamore. Brendamore looking out in front. Brendamore trying to find somebody in the middle. That is blocked by Niedermeyer. Deneen wraparound shot. Save made by Brodeur. Desjardins moved up, intended for Brendamore. Another penalty coming. A penalty on the Devils. John McLean. Bobby Holik, we're down low, holding and cross-checking, and it looks like Holik's going to get this one. Renberg picking up his first of this series, his fourth of the playoffs. Lindros and Leclerc had the assist. The power play goal at 13:54. Michael Renberg giving the Flyers a 2-1 lead. 15-minute mark. Bobby Holik is gone on the cross-checking call, and the Flyers get their third power play chance. They've converted one to take the lead in this game, and now get another.
The red-hot power play.
Yeah, red-hot, 1 for 2.
It's not only scoring a goal that's significant for the Flyers, but it's getting one in the power play. You get so tight. I mean, if you got a metal shafted stick, you just squeeze it into some kind of twisted art form with your hands. If it's wood, you make sawdust out of it. Score one goal, and especially in your home rink, where there's pressure to produce on the power play, and all of a sudden a lot of that pressure just goes away.
Lindros, they're checking, I think, see if he's okay. You saw the faces of those two warriors right there, and Lindros and Stevens. Boy, this is only Game 2 of this series. They got black and blue marks, red marks, welts all over the place. Philadelphia working on the power play here. Desjardins coming back to get it. Philadelphia already up 2-1 in this game with 4:43 left to go in the first. Desjardins sends it in. The heart around to Renberg. Renberg has got one of the goals. Lindros the other for Philadelphia. In the battle in the corner, Renberg was able to kick it away. Lindros to Renberg. Brodeur broke it up. And it's cleared out by Tom Chorske right on net. Hextall at the other end, trying to rush it up as the Devils change up on their penalty killing unit. So the Devils' streak ended at 0 for 18, not surrendering a power play, with the Flyers getting one on that last chance. John McLean drops it off on the near side to Broten. Short-handed. Broten will send it in wide. Hextall with McLean coming. Moved up to play it himself. Up the boards. Dykhouse batted it into the zone. Tried to follow it in. Driver got it back up to McLean. McLean's pass high for Broten. Broten moving in. Lindros with him. Lindros took it away.
But once Eric Lindros gets you in the V, in the fort, with the stick kind of hooking you like that, he'll lift you up so that you can't get any traction, and you are toast, pal. It doesn't matter who you are.
Neal Broten, your wheat toast. He's cleared around far side. Yuskevich. Chorske moved in on him. Brendamore over. Power play here for Philadelphia, but they've not had a chance on it yet. 35 seconds left, and it's cleared again by the Devils. Devils penalty killing unit working thus far. Still time. 25 left. Niedermeyer again. Cleared it through center. Terrien will come out to work a point with Yuskevich. There's Terrien on the near side. Chris Terrien, one of the rookies playing, and there aren't many in this series. Brendamore moved it in. Driver left it. Chorske up and out of the zone. Terrien, Patrick Uline, two rookies out there for the Philadelphia Flyers. Yuskevich backs it up the other way. This is a game, a lot of veterans for the Devils, and of second, third, and fourth year players for the Philadelphia Flyers. Terrien sent it ahead, again intercepted by Driver, and the penalty is over, so they've killed it off. Richer brought it in. McLean tips it to the corner. Yuskevich coming back to get it. Near side off the boards for Terrien.
Gary, the Devils had the penalty end, and they had a mix-up at their bench, and for 10 seconds, they were still in a 4-man unit out there. Claude Lemieux finally counted to 4 and said, uh-oh, we're one short.
There's Lemieux running it in right there. Hextall batted it away. Richer centered Lemieux just a little bit behind him. Picked up by McTavish. 2-1 Flyer lead. 2:25 to go here in the first. Devils knocking it down. Lemieux can't get it by McTavish. McTavish, big chance right off the end of the glove. Good play by Brodeur, just enough to get that one. Chambers up, not out on the far side. Zettler. Ron Zettler's first playoff game, wearing 20 for the Flyers, taking Peter Svoboda's place with that strain of the shoulder. Lemieux sends it in. Hextall knocks it down. That'll get the whistle. We've got another penalty coming up here. Andy Van Hellemond signals that Uline will go. So Patrick Uline is out of there, and a power play coming for the Devils with 2:04 left here in this first period. Our Dodge intermission report coming up. We'll be taking a look at the analysis of this one. Mike and Barry will be doing that for you. They'll have a preview of that Western Conference Series shift to Chicago. Detroit's leading in that one. Roenick and Primo, a primary matchup. And the Hawks, can they come back from a 2-0 deficit?
Martin Brodeur has had to make some terrific saves, and he had to make a quick glove save on Craig McTavish. Terry Murray has really used Craig McTavish smartly, I think, in the playoffs so far. There it is. Boy, that looked like it was headed for at least the post. Real speed coming at you. Wow. Terry Murray has not overworked Craig McTavish. At 36, he's only got so much gas, and Anatoly Semenov and Craig McTavish have really platooned as kind of the third center. And Craig McTavish at 36, as a result, even at this stage of the season, he looks like he's got lots of gas left.
He does, and lots of hunger. Sent around by Chambers. Driver on the far side. You lean out slashing. 17:56. Power play for the Devils. It'll be their third of the game. They have scored a power play goal. Relene looking into the middle. They've got Guerin set up in front. Near side, Zelepukin couldn't handle it. He was open. Zelepukin came from behind the net. Chambers shot deflected. Knocked down in front by Guerin. He couldn't redirect it, though, and it's cleared out. Short-handed Philadelphia. The far end, 1:34 left to go here. Flyers trying to create an opportunity. Lindros, good job. Swept that in on Brodeur. Lindros and Renberg, the goals for Philadelphia. Randy McKay picking one up for the New Jersey Devils. Each team has a power play goal. That'll be called a hand pass. Yuskevich is arguing, hey, we can do that in our defensive zone.
But Andy Van Hellemond had to rule that he was intentionally trying to advance the puck out of the zone to one of his players who was trying to attack.
And he was.
And you're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to do that. He had a man up at center ice. He was trying to break with a hand pass.
But it has to be deemed intentional. So maybe that's what Yuskevich was arguing. He said, look, I didn't see anybody.
Stephane Richer, their leading point man, 13 points in the playoffs for the Devils, 3 goals and 10 assists. Randy McKay with all those goals. He and Lemieux lead the Devils in goal scoring. Intercepted Dykhouse, gets it back to McTavish. Short-handed Flyers. Brodeur goes the other way. Stevens over to get it. Stevens working a point on the power play, had it batted away. Brodeur will play it at the other end. Niedermeyer comes back to get it. We're in the final minute of this first period. Philadelphia Flyers up 2-1. It'll be brought up by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer sends it over to Richer. Richer, the big wind-up, and that'll end up a second deck here at the Spectrum. Still time on the power play. 42 seconds left on it. Somewhere in this vast throng is our own man. Let's find him. Al Morganti.
Thanks, Gary. Well, Flyer Mania is taking over here at the Spectrum. You see all these shirts? Well, it looks like everybody's bought an 88 jersey. Eric Lindros absolutely taken over. These things aren't cheap. Hey, they pay me so much, I guess I get one for myself.
Not sure the shirt and tie is the right outfit with the jersey, but looking good, Al.
You avoid any checks by wearing the tie, however. It's a very smart move on his part. And when you're out there in the concourse doing that, you do get checked.
Yeah, you don't want to try that here with the Scott Stevens jersey on.
No, I wouldn't do that out there. Lindros on the face-off, won by Breland. Point shot, Stevens. Hextall the save. Breland, the shot deflected off Lemieux's back. Cleared up to the point. Stepping up, Lindros reaching, couldn't quite get it out. Great play by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer looking. Niedermeyer in his shot. Save Hextall. Rebound wide by Lemieux. Still a power play for 20 seconds. They've got full time for the power play. Stevens dropped it off for McLean. Lemieux came in to get it. 14 left on the power play. 16 in the period. Lemieux. Devils trying to get this tied up. Shot. Lemieux score! John McLean! A tremendous deflection. And with 11 seconds left in the period, the Devils have tied this game 2-2.
Boy, what about the special teams? You know, Terry Murray wants to be able to play 5-on-5 against the New Jersey Devils. For one reason, his power play wasn't going all that good, but the Flyers have won in this game. The Devils are red hot on the power play. That can win a series for you by itself. So Andy Van Hellemond has tightened things up. Claude Lemieux here drifted it to the net. There was a screen set up by Kevin Haller. Gary, did John McLean deflect that as he was turning around?
I think he did.
Watch McLean here on this ISO.
He deflected a deflection.
That was, see, Ron Hextall did not move because it was coming right for his pads, and the deflection was made only about 4 feet in front of him.
The Devils, a never-say-die team. The Flyers have come out, played exceptional hockey here compared to what they did in the first game. The Devils have just kept on going, and they've been able to get this game tied up in the final minute of the first period on John McLean's power play goal. McLean now has 3 in the playoffs this season. The assists on that goal went to Lemieux and Stevens at 19:48. John, Mike, and Barry.
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot. And guys, when you look at that period, if you're Philadelphia, you have to be concerned. You're playing against a team that's not supposed to be able to come from behind, yet they've done it twice.
That goal was a killer. Flyers had a great period going. They were much more emotional. They got it in deep. They made some great plays, and then to get a goal like that scored on is a killer at that time.
When the Devils play like they play in the trap all the time, they're constantly under pressure. So if they get down by a goal, there's really not that much intensity on them. They don't feel that kind of heaviness. They're okay. They're very relaxed, and they come right back at you.
And you guys made the point that they do have guys who can score.
Lots of them.
Unlike what some people might think. And this one is tied up at 2 apiece. In the second period is straight ahead. But right now it's time for the new Dodge Intermission Report. We're going to take a look at the other series in the Western Conference between Detroit and Chicago, and more on the Devils and the Flyers in a moment.
Tonight's intermission report is presented by Dodge. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge.
Welcome back once again to the new Dodge Intermission Report. John Saunders along with Mike Milbury and Barry Melrose. When we looked at the game from a couple of days ago, the Philadelphia Flyers didn't play with emotion, but today they've really come out and made a lot of adjustments, and it's shown in the first period.
Yeah, one of the major adjustments they've tried to make is try to keep the Devils forwards on the outside. It was Guerin and Lemieux and Richer the other day that kept burning the Flyers' defense. But it looks like they've addressed that. Certainly in this case, when Stephane Richer will pick up on a loose puck here on the turnover, and watch Richer. Usually he'll bust out of here with a full head of steam. He's got plenty of room to operate, but Richer's not skating. He's facing 3 Flyers right at the line, nowhere to go. They break up the play, turn it over, and the Flyers come right back out of the zone, and that's the kind of play that the Flyers have had, that last goal notwithstanding.
Flyers have done a great job. They're the team looked quick that period. They did a lot of good things to make a couple mistakes, and they're still tied. That's what's a tough part of it.
2-2 is the score after 1 period of play. Now, on the other side of the coin, Martin Brodeur is a guy who you want to shoot the puck at him, but if you're not trying to score, you want to keep it away from him.
Yeah, John, one of the things that really killed Philly so far is their dump-ins. They're not getting good dump-ins, and they're letting Martin Brodeur play the puck. This guy, at his age, is one of the best puck handlers in the NHL. He handles it very well, but he makes good choices. And you see here, they come up, get the center ice well. He's got the lane to shoot it in, but instead of getting it up in the glass hard or a cross-corner dump away from Brodeur, he throws it in right around the board, soft, right on Brodeur's big paddle. Watch the kid, he looks up, he sees the boards are open. And this kid's going to score some goals just like Hextall before his career is over. It goes out. No chance to forecheck, no chance to get anything going. They got to use cross-corner dumps away from him or get it up in that glass, and every once in a while you get a lucky bounce and hits one of those standards and it comes down, you get a soft goal. But they got to do better dump-ins.
He makes intelligent decisions, and that's one of the big factors in this series. 2-2 is the score right now. In the West, 2-0 is the score in the series. Detroit leading Chicago. When we come back, we'll take a look and see, can the Blackhawks come back from this 2-0 deficit? They've done it once already this season. Welcome back once again to the New Dodge Intermission Report. As I mentioned, in the West, the Detroit Red Wings leading the Chicago Blackhawks 2-0 as they now shift to Chicago and the new arena there, the United Center. Let's join now our Darren Pang for more on that series.
Thanks, John. And here in Chicago, the Blackhawks went through an optional skate this morning, and only a couple of the regulars were on the ice, Bernie Nichols, Tony Amonte, and Cam Russell. The interesting figure certainly would have been Gary Suter, and in fact, following practice, Daryl Sutter talked about Gary's availability for Game 3, and it looks likely that he will play. They'll have to do a couple of minor readjustments with that cast, big bulky cast on the right side, but it looks like Suter will play for Game 3. Now, as far as the rest of the Blackhawks are concerned, well, they've got a lot of things to build on, and they think they have the answers.
Well, I think what we've got to continue to do is be physical. We've got to continue to skate. I think that you know, we haven't played as strong defensively as we would have liked to have. We've allowed them some opportunities. Paul Coffey in particular is getting opportunities that we're going to have to negate in Game 3 to have success.
We know that Game 3 now becomes a crucial game, and I think that everything that's happened so far in the first 2 games is, as far as I'm concerned, you might as well throw out the door, because we have to win Game 3.
So for the Blackhawks to win Game 3 here at the United Center, one thing's for certain, they've got to generate more scoring chances on Mike Vernon and use their speeds on the outside. Now, as for the Detroit Red Wings, they skated this morning at Joe Louis before coming to Chicago. Steve Yzerman on the stationary bike for 2 hard days, skated this morning. Outside chance that he would return for Game 3, but in all likelihood, Game 4 will be the return of their captain. First 2 games were terrific, fellas. The third one should be a beauty as well. Back to you guys.
All right, Panger, thanks a lot. And in this one, there's a matchup that's interesting. Jeremy Roenick is a guy who's physical. He pushes people around. But going up against Keith Primo, it's not been that easy.
For whatever reason, Brent Sutter has tried to get this matchup going in Games 1 and 2. He did finally scrap it. And this is while Roenick got it started early, made his presence felt to the big horse. Well, what's a horsefly to a horse? It's just a bother. He gives up 4 inches and 50 pounds. But Primo, after a while, got the better of it. And Roenick was on the bench for the last 10 minutes, not on the bench, but away from this matchup. Sutter decided to scrap it. Scotty Bowman just didn't care which way it went. I just don't think Roenick can handle the guy the size of Keith Primo, and I think he needs to carry the puck more. They need some offense. Nichols isn't doing it. Savard's not doing it. They need Roenick to crank it up offensively.
One of the things that I want to talk about is an area of the game that used to be strictly Chicago's domain, and that was board work. And one of the major improvements Detroit's made the last couple of years is they're a much bigger, stronger team on the boards here. And you see killing a penalty, puck goes behind the net, defenseman goes back and gets it. Now he's got to go either that way around the wall or reverse it around the wall on his forehand, and the wingers high have to read that. Sutter's already going to the wall right there. He reversed it to Dirk Graham. Now Dirk's one of the best board players in the NHL. He gets it clean, everything's good, but he fails to get it out. That's a cardinal sin against a power play like Detroit's. They're going to burn you if you're going to give Coffey 2 or 3 chances to make a play. And Lidstrom makes a great play here after Coffey gets it. He doesn't let Graham get back into play, interferes with him. And Dino Ciccarelli's back in his office there right off the post, and it's a great goal. But when you get a chance to get out against a great power play, it's got to go out.
It's got to go out. It's got to go out hard and fast, without question. All right, we want to remind everyone that Game 3 is coming your way right here on ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow night, as Chris Chelios and the Blackhawks try and look to avoid going down 3-0. 8 o'clock start from the United Center. Back with more in a moment.
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by Dodge. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge. By Old Spice High Endurance. For long-lasting odor protection, demand proof, get Old Spice. And by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
The power play first period. Flyers 1 for 3. The New Jersey Devils coming away with a couple of power play goals. It's 2-2 after 1. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, Elmore Gaddy, and welcome back.
And Eric Lindros tries to beat you in so many ways. He is the Terminator. He can terminate you with the body or on the scoreboard. In Game 1, 2 nights ago, Eric Lindros came out and tried to establish the hitting game for the Flyers. He tried to do it by himself. Really, nobody helped out in Game 1. Tonight in Game 1, different story. He tried to terminate the Devils, not with the hits early, but with plays like this. Great pass from Dineen, off the skate by Lindros, and then zing by Martin Brodeur. But the guy that has scored a key goal in this game so far for the New Jersey Devils, John McClain. And we want to look at this play. Lemieux has it. He's just going to dump it in here. Look at Kevin Haller in front, number 5. He has moved in front of McClain to cut the pass. When you try to cut it, you better get it. Haller went for it with the stick. If he takes his hand off his stick and goes down like a second baseman, he might be able to get it. but he didn't, and John McClain tipped it on the turn by Ron Hextall with 12 seconds to go in the first period. Ron Hextall thought he had it, but he did not have time to react on that one.
That's a back-breaking kind of goal by veteran John McClain, who gets his third goal of the playoffs this year, his first of this series. And we are underway here in the second period. Shots were in 9-8 in the first in favor of the Flyers. And it's dumped deeper into the zone. Stevens came back to get it. Stevens right back out there whenever Lindros is, just as happened in game one. Chorsky sends it in wide. Played up by Hextall off the glass to center. Batted down by Daneyko to Chorsky. Chorsky just dumped that one in deep. Chorsky's out there now with Carpenter and John McClain on this line. There's Jacques Lemieux, the coach behind the bench for the New Jersey Devils. Renberg the other way, and a whistle offside. Lindros on the near side was in the zone.
And one of the few times the Flyers were able to bring the puck up the ice without going into the trap, simply because the Devils never channeled it to one side on this last play, but offside stops everything.
See what Eric Lindros in game one, there wasn't much going on for himself personally or the line. Tonight already he has a shot and 2 points in this game with a goal and an assist. Lindros and Renberg the goals for Philadelphia, McKay and McClain for the Devils. Face-off just outside the New Jersey line. Devils leading this series, of course, 1-0. We'll be taking it back to the Meadowlands Wednesday. We'll be there as our exclusive coverage of the Eastern Conference Finals continues for you. Devils, though, want to try and go 2-0, and the Flyers are looking to even this up before they go on the road.
Well, Terry Murray's made a change in his lines. He has taken the smallest Flyer off of the Brind'Amour line. That is Rob DeMaio, and he's put this Hulk on. That was Sean Antosky, the second biggest Flyer behind Eric Lindros. Did he ever level Sean Chambers on this one? Rob DeMaio has bounced off a couple of Devils. The Devils are big, strong, so it looks like Terry Murray wants to go with a little bulk on this Brind'Amour line.
Hits have continued here by both teams. Bruce Driver drops it back into the zone with Brind'Amour up. Driver gets it back. Pushes it away by Lemieux. Long pass Richer. That screaming shot deflected wide carry, and Hextall came out to play it and sent it out of the zone.
Already this period, Ron Hextall has been a factor. He has dumped the puck out 3 different times. The Devils have to be very careful. They know about Hextall's puck-moving ability. You give it to him, coming right back out.
Brodeur played that one up ice and didn't get it out of the zone as Antosky held it in. Deneen on the far side. Deneen back behind the net. Antosky giving chase. Antosky at Yuskevich cutting. He came back up to the point with it. Turned around and hard by Driver. Driver and he do battle. Antosky and Driver along the boards. Here comes Richer. Richer's got a 3-on-2 for the moment. Shot saving Hextall. Good hard shot by Broten. Yuskevich cleared it around. Slimming up. Couldn't hold it in. Chambers far side. Played back into the zone by Driver. Hextall back there again. Stepping up Billy Guerin, and a whistle on a delayed offside call, or maybe a hand pass here, one or the other.
I'll tell you something, the Flyers might be onto something with moving Antosky up to the Brind'Amour line. He has just been all over the place, banging people. Rod Brind'Amour smart enough to back him up. Kevin Deneen, good backup players. So Sean Antosky, go ahead and do his thing. Al Morganti, where are you?
Oh, Sean Antosky's one of those big guys the Flyers have, and you know, they wanted a lot of size when they got in. Rob DeMaio, like you said, the smallest guy on the team. And Terry Murray, the coach will frankly tell you, he wasn't even in the game plan early in the season. They list him as 5'10". He's more like 5'8", 5'9". That's a generous 5'10" they give him. But he played so hard. Terry Murray said that kind of guy, you have to have him on for the size of his heart.
Well, I agree. He's bounced off, I said, a couple of Devils, but boy, oh boy, you know, I mean, even in game one, Rob DeMaio leaves it on the ice every night.
Bankhouse back in his own end. Freeland driving him back a little deeper. Good hit by Guerin, but he couldn't come away with the puck near side for DeMaio. Rob DeMaio brings it into the zone. DeMaio's got 2 goals, 4 assists, playing at a +4 coming into tonight's game before the playoff year. Devils reversing direction to Guerin. Guerin intended for Freeland. Didn't get much of that. Freeland steps around the check. Good play as he freed that puck up nicely for Zalapukin. Zalapukin dropped it back in. Anatoly Semenoff had the hit on Niedermeyer. Semenoff up, not out. Held in. Good play. Tommy Adelin behind the net. Hextall. Hextall around. Dion gets hit by Niedermeyer. That held it in again. Zalapukin shot. Save made right in on Hextall. Freeland. Center. Shot rolled wide of the net. And Niedermeyer cutting down low. The Devils D drop side of the net in the battle by Zalapukin. Again, the centering pass, Zalapukin batted off Hextall's stick. Back to the point, penalty coming. Shot wide by Tommy Avalon. There's Dion gunning it. That won't count. That's an empty net. There's already been a penalty called here, and the Devils don't like the fact Dion shot that one all the way up into the net. But it'll be a power play coming up here for New Jersey on the delayed high sticking call. And it'll be Zettler who's going to go to the penalty box. ESPN's coverage of the College World Series is going to be continuing tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific. Omaha, Nebraska is the site. Florida State versus Southern Cal will be coming up on ESPN. Start time 3:30. Then tomorrow night at 7:30 on the Deuce, Tennessee will take on today's Stanford-Clemson winner. That's tomorrow, both on ESPN and on ESPN2, the College World Series.
You know, one of the things that makes the Devils so successful, even when they're not trapping, Rob Zettler's in the penalty box, but the Devils back each other up. They read so well defensively. They made a real good play on one of the Hextall attempted clears. They pinched. The coverage was there. That's why the defenseman pinched. They hardly ever make mistakes defensively.
So Zettler goes on the high sticking at 2:53. The Devils 2 for 2 on the power play tonight. Get their third chance here. Both their goals coming on the power play. As Bill said, they are red hot in that regard. Brought in by Broten. Broten dropped it. McLean, driver. Back down low, McLean on the sideboard. McLean, Lindros moves over on him. McLean felt that coming and got it into the far side corner. McKay, Chambers back for McKay. Goes all the way around to John McLean. McLean back up top of the power play shot. Driver deflected out deep. Lindros had a piece shot wide. Knocked away by Hextall with a stick with a rebound in the middle. Here comes Lindros short-handed or trying. Chambers stepped up and took it away. Lindros poke checks it away from behind. 2-on-1 short-handed with Brendamore. Lindros! Brendamore! Couldn't get it. This driver reached in and tipped it away. Short-handed chance. Back comes Broten. Broten moving. Chambers! Broten empty net scores! The Devils said in practice this morning, Hextall cannot move from side to side. If we can pass the puck that way, we can score. 3 for 3 on the power play.
And it sure helps when you get a flyer that appeared to bang it into the net. I'm not sure Dmitry Yushkevich trying to cover this guy, Neal Broten, didn't have a big part in it. Flyers, when the rush was coming towards them, had a guy come off the bench and he had to scramble back off because they had too many men. But watch the play here to Yushkevich. His skate and Broten's stick kind of combined, and it bounced by Ron Hextall. Hextall was trying to just play the shots, relying on Yushkevich to take the coverage away from him. Never fails. A 2-on-1 backfires, especially when you're short-handed. A 2-on-1 by the Flyers backfired at the other end, and you know that you've got an odd man rush coming at you the other way. That's what happened to the Flyers. Yushkevich banged his stick on the ice. He was upset, but the Devils' power play is just awesome right now.
Can you believe the Devils' power play was 23rd overall and dead last on the road during the regular season? And right now they are 3 for 3 in this game. New Jersey's power play is 12 for 41 overall. Intercepted by McTavish. McTavish dropped down in the corner. Yulin, the intended. McTavish reaching in, couldn't get it. Cleared out of the zone by Zalapukin. Broten gets the goal at 3:51. Chambers and Driver the assist in the power play. It'll be Broten's first of this series, his 4th of the playoffs this year. Devils get it back. Guerin moving in. Guerin in front. Shot saved by Hextall. Billy Guerin on the short side. Held in by Zalapukin to Breland. Breland, side of the net. Terry it on him. Played up, not out of the zone. Let's try one more time here. The flip over McTavish's head to get it out. John Bodine, who's not played a lot, able to clear the zone that time. Both teams change it up on the fly. Gary starts it.
Gary, the Devils have really taken away that side boards that Ron Hextall tried to clear up. He goes up that side almost every time.
Randy McKay set it up the stick. Peluso shot, deflected rebound. Holik! Holik against goal! Bobby Holik! The crash line on an even strength goal. And the Devils take a 4-2 lead.
Resilient is this New Jersey Devil team. They trailed twice in this game. They came back to tie it with 12 seconds to go in the first, and now they're just ripping it away. Chris Therrien tried to dump it out, and it was cut. Well, that's a couple of times Chris Therrien has tried that, only to have a Devil shove it right back at him. Watch the Flyers that end up flat on their faces on this play. All of them go down to block the shot. Didn't work.
The Devils spent most of their practice time this morning passing from behind the net. Because Jacques Lemieux, as I mentioned, was convinced after watching the tape of Game 1 more than ever that Hextall cannot move side to side. So he said, I want my guys taking the puck behind the net, trying to get Hextall looking one way, come back around the other, and pass it out. They are doing it. 2-on-1. Lindros, his shot. Brodeur knocked it away. Leclerc able to hold it in. Nope, lost it. Lemieux couldn't get it by him. Leclerc hit from behind, knocked down. Daneyko pokes it ahead the other way. The Devils have taken a 4-2 lead, 3 power play goals and 1 even strength.
I'll give Brodeur a lot of credit on that last save. Eric Lindros decided to tee it up and take his time and look for something to shoot at. Brodeur had to come across, set up, and take away all the shooting holes, and Eric Lindros looked like he didn't have anything to go for.
Devils have scored 3 goals on their last 5 shots here. Brought back in, Dykhouse took it away. Dykhouse hit by Chorsky, still has the puck. Dykhouse starts it up for the Flyers. Dykhouse the D, moved it in. Nowhere to go, got it back. Dykhouse looking for DeMaio, cutting it, deflects into the seats. Bobby Holik, his first of this series, his third of the playoffs. Peluso and McKay set him up. An even strength goal out in front. Watch Holik waiting on the right side. Turns around, back of the net. 4-2 Devils. She's a beauty. That's what they're all after. Bobby Holik's helped his Devils to a 4-2 lead, picking up that goal. Crash line. Terry Murray said this morning when he was meeting with the press, he said the Devils really have only one line that creates even strength chances. Inside, shot on Brodeur, makes the save again. That crash line got the even strength goal here in this one. Batted up in the air and out of the zone. The play just to get it out of there by Zelepukin. Philadelphia has cleared the zone. The Devils, though, have it behind their own net. John Chambers, near side for Driver. 4-2 Devils lead. 13:20 to go in the second period. Icing call. Guerin trying to get there first and did. Billy Guerin. Zelepukin center. Breland knocked away by Hextall. Philadelphia just beaten that time in the corner as Billy Guerin won the race. Yuskevich sends it in. Shutting it down, Brendan Moore's shot deflected. Right back to the dot. Billy Guerin. They start a 4-on-3. Guerin coming. Guerin, Breland, the trailer. Whistled. Offside on the right wing with Zelepukin. Our Bud Ice Stanley Cup summary. We continue our exclusive coverage of these conference finals on ESPN. The Devils 6-1 on the road in playoff games this year. The Red Wings have now won 7 consecutive. And the teams that have won Game 2 have won 11 of the 12 series this year.
And for the first time in a playoff series this season, the Flyers trail. They are down 1-0. They trail 4-2 here. What do you do now? Terry Murray has to tell his guys, remain patient. Don't try to make those tough passes through the trap. Remember the game plan. Don't stray from it because the Devils will counterattack and get more. This is when the Devils really have you at their mercy. They've got the lead. If you lose your patience and try to force the pucks through bad areas where the plays really aren't there, they're going to get more.
That's what they did in Game 1. Every mistake they turned over into another goal. You see the shots here in favor of the Devils. This Devils team averaged 2.8 goals a game during the regular season. They have scored now 8 goals here in less than 2 games against Philadelphia. For Philadelphia, 9 games prior to the Devils, they've given up 4 goals twice. They've already given up 4 goals in these games to the Devils, and we've still got half a game to go in this one. Stevens, pass partially blocked. Looking for Lindros in front, couldn't get it there. Zettler will chase it down. Had Chorsky on him. Renberg couldn't handle it. Knocked away to McLean. John McLean shoots it in high. Cleared back up on the near side, not out. Bobby Carpenter sends it back. Chorsky, Carpenter, McLean. For McLean, he intercepted. For a place to go with it. Cleared out by Desjardins. Lindros on the right. Lindros at the line. 2 red meets him. His pass intercepted and cleared to the boards. Daneyko. Again, pass. Save made on Renberg's shot. Renberg a great tip. And Brodeur was right there. Lindros couldn't handle that one behind the net. McLean, they need a change here. They won't get it. Kevin Haller was able to hold it in the zone. Daneyko trying to get it hard around and out. He can't either. Desjardins held it in. Chorsky's up front. Carpenter gets it to McLean for Chorsky. Intercepted Desjardins. Harry Desjardins back in his own end. 4-2 Devils in Game 2. 11:40 left here in the second period. Shots are even at 12. The Devils have been able to get it by Hextall in this game. the Philadelphia beat New Jersey 3 out of 4 times during the regular season. Their big line did a great job against New Jersey, but they have been shut down here early on in this series, coming on strong in the first period. And Scott Stevens stays out there on the ice against Lindros and not giving him much room again. Batted away by Lemieux. It deflects off the glass and onto the Philadelphia bench. Devils 4, Flyers 2, second period.
Now the Devils are playing their game now. The trap, the Flyers skated right into it just a second ago. Here's Desjardins. Now they've got to play over near the boards. That's what the Devils want. Right, they've got it over the sideboard. Stop right here, but say, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 Devils. Believe me, the 5th guy was right off to the side, and the Flyers went right into it up that side instead of reversing it and going the other way.
That's where there's no room. Puck in the corner, the on-doing battle, cleared around by Holik to the near side. Rolls back to center ice. Tommy Adelin comes back to get it. Devils getting back on side. Niedermeyer, the backhander into the zone. Carrion will chase.
Gary should point out, one of the most important guys in that trap is the first Devil to channel the play to one side. He has to channel it and then stop the Flyers from making the pass back over to the weak side from defenseman to defenseman. And the Devils' first guy is always conscientious.
Always. Yep, they are so consistent in getting that done, and especially here in the playoffs where they have upped the ante on defense. They gave up only 2.5 a game during the regular season. Coming into this game down to 1.22. Back in by Bobby Holik, who's got a goal deflected wide. Centering pass knocked away. Battle along the near side board. Zelapukin got it away. McKay. Centering pass for Zelapukin deflects back to center, and Toski couldn't handle. And Driver will come back to his own blue line to drop it off. Jacques Lemaire makes a few changes as you go through the game here. He's put Zelapukin out here on the so-called crash line for a while. We're in the middle of a change. But he stayed out there for most of that. He loses all of his people. So do we. Al Morganti.
Thanks, Gary. Well, Jacques Lemaire, he can be a pretty confident guy because in goal, he's got Martin Brodeur. Martin Brodeur, between periods, you know, they've already scored about a month's worth of goals against them. That's 2. He was livid between periods and giving up a couple of goals. A lot of people look at him, you talk to him afterwards, he seems so cool. But he's the kind of guy, he's so good, he starts to compete almost against himself. He's better than he was before. You look at those 3 shutouts, almost the 4th the other night, and he's the kind of guy, he really wanted that 4th shutout. He wants a shutout every night.
Gotcha, he is cool, Al. I mean, today when we were shooting some stuff with him for our open, he was trying to work with us, and we needed to do another take. He said, you got time? He said, I got all day. I mean, and he was so cool, he would have stayed there probably for half an hour if you'd asked him to.
He loves to talk hockey. I mean, he'll sit down and talk hockey with anybody about any time. John McLean clears it out. Dykhouse giving chase. Brodeur made another save right off that draw at the other end. Dykhouse from behind the net. Lindros moved up to help. Thorsten rode him into the boards. Lindros chasing far side. Daneyko and he go after it. Daneyko poked it right up into Lindros's face. I was going to say shield, but he doesn't have it anymore. Backed up. Devils. McLean. McLean moving it in. John McLean will take the long shot. Save made by Hextall. Dykhouse takes it in behind the net. And as the Devils did in game 1, they've taken the Flyer fans out of this game again with a 4-2 lead here. After the Flyers twice have been on top by 1, the Devils now up by 2. Here comes Lemieux. Claude Lemieux. Big wind-up over the head of Hextall. Lands in the back of the net, and they will get the whistle. Perfectly settled right there for his shot. There's Claude Lemieux. Scored a lot of goals, but in this series, he's defensive work. Tom and Neely, our producer, Doug Holmes, our director, National Hockey Night, getting these great shots of the cup. You'll be seeing coverage. Detroit Red Wings, Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern. That will be for the game 3 of the series. The Eastern Conference continues, moves to New Jersey. We'll be there for that Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. 2 great matchups. 4 teams left. Batted away. Great treat the other day. The cup was actually brought to Philadelphia. Doug Holmes, our director, and Tom McNeely spent all day shooting those magnificent shots you're seeing. Those were done right here in Philly with the cup. And they were beautiful. Comes back up to Broten. Broten moving it in, and yes, we all had our pictures taken with it. Just as Billy once did, only he's got his name on it, and we don't. That'll be a 2-line offside pass. I tried to scratch mine on, but she just wouldn't let me do it.
He just didn't have the right equipment.
I didn't. Do you know, she said that cup, for the 100 so years that it's been around, there have only been 4 persons to put names on that cup. 4
engravers?
That's all. It stayed in the family for a long time of engravers.
Boy, this is what the paper looked like the day after the Flyers won in '75. I was part of it. See Kansas City here. Kansas City was looking for lean pickings in the draft. Guess what? Kansas City moved to Colorado, and then they became the New Jersey Devils, and that little title talks about some lean pickings in the expansion draft, and it was Kansas City and Washington. Didn't start out all that hot.
Chris Simpson was the gal I was referring to. She is the attendant at the cup. She says Stanley and I get along very well and travel together nicely. She takes the cup everywhere and takes care of it. Her brother's name is on the cup. She says it's her name because it's C. Simpson. He was Craig. She is Chris. Brought back in by Breland. Breland dumps it off into the corner to himself. Breland moves back up to Billy Guerin. Guerin could not control that. Brendamore able to get it out. Kevin Haller dumped off into the corner. DeMaio unable to catch up. Cleared around by Brodeur near side. Chip comes away to center. And it'll be chased down by the Flyers. A 4-2 lead for the Devils. 7:42 left to go here in the second period of Game 2. Our exclusive coverage on ESPN of the Eastern and Western Conference Final. And of course, we'll be carrying you through the Stanley Cup Finals as well. Here's Yuskevich. Yuskevich sends it in around the boards. Brodeur couldn't cut it off. Being back up to the point, backhanded off LeClaire. Lindros got tied up in the corner by Guerin. Devils making sure somebody is always on. Eric Lindros cleared out of the zone by Stevens. So far in this game, every shift that's been taken by Lindros, Scott Stevens has been out there with him.
Everyone, the Devils have been flawless on their changes. And that's not to say that he has been out there at the start of every shift, but when the Devils get the face-off or get control of it, they dump it in deep, and Scott Stevens gets out there. And the Devils have won almost all the face-offs when they've had to make that quick switch.
And they missed only one of those in Game 1. We're not sure it was actually a miss, but for every shift Lindros had in Game 1, Stevens came out except on one of them. And the fans now, a little booing again here as the Devils are playing their kind of game. Driver touches that one up on the icing call. 6:40 left to go, second period. Devils leading at 4-2.
Now, the Devils are a frustrating team to watch if you're not their hometown crowd. When they are on the road, they frustrate everybody. They've frustrated the fans here. They frustrated Eric Lindros in Game 1. And I think it's starting to mount here. Billy Guerin took him along the boards and just tried to ride him out and hold him there, keep him from getting back into the play. That's Devils hockey right there. Take him and don't let him go.
And then when we get the puck, let him go.
Then let him go.
Only then. So the big guy really had somebody in the jersey with him here for these two games. So far in this one, Stevens on for all 11 even strength shifts for Eric Lindros.
And they don't bother shadowing Eric Lindros because he's not an end-to-end puck carrier. And as Terry Murray said, he reads the play and then adjusts, so he's unpredictable. He just does what he has to do to get the job done.
Yep. Cleared out of the zone. Sean Podine sent right back in by Chambers. Love down again and out. Chambers right back there to get it. Chambers teamed up with Bruce Driver now in the defensive pair for the Devils. Randy McKay tipped that one in wide. 4-2 lead as the Devils exploded here in this second period to get goals at 3:51 and 4:59 from Broten and O'Leek. They've scored the last three now. Shot by Sean Bodine, deflects. Brodeur back there. Just poke checks it away. That goal that came at 19:48 of that first period was a back-breaking goal and tied it up at 2-2. John McClain got it on a tip. The Flyers looked as though the Flyers had momentum going their way and had the lead. Took the late penalty, and the Devils came up with a power play goal. Brought back in Zelepukin. Zelepukin on Kevin Haller. Shot saved. Rebound shot and another one. Batted away off the side of the net. Niedermeyer sends it deeper. Desjardins comes back to get it. Zelepukin right there with him. Jacques Lemaire just rolls them out. 6D, 4 lines. Game after game, playoffs or otherwise. Shot in Dion. Save made Brodeur. He was going to let it go, but too many of the orange and white crews again on that one. 5:21 left here in the second. Al Morganti.
Well, Gary, again in the East, we've got a pretty good series between franchises that are virtually right next to each other. The fans here, many of them are making the trip up to the Meadowlands for the next two games in this series. If you take a look at the map in the East, everything's real close. 78 miles between the two sites. And what's real interesting here, although they're called New Jersey, every Flyer lives over in South Jersey, so it's hard to get really mad about that New Jersey name tag they have, although that New Jersey name tag, maybe a Nashville name tag next season. It's a lot further to Nashville than the Meadowlands.
Where do you live, Al?
I live over there in South Jersey.
Brought up by Stephane Richer. Richer sends it in. Good article in the New York Times today by Richard Sandamore, who went down to Nashville when this first game was being played to find out how Nashville felt about hockey. What he discovered was most of them didn't know they were playing. Dumped off on the near side. Stephens back in his own end. He said he went into a bar, had 16 television sets. And once the College World Series started, 13 of them were turned onto the baseball. And most of the people he talked with said, ask us about football, we'll tell you anything. Hockey?
They'll get it.
They'll get it. Yuskevich cleared it up into the middle to Dion. Knocked away by Stephens, who takes it back in his own end. A 4-2 lead here for the Devils. Then for Zalapukin, couldn't get it through. Picked up by Stephens. Devils, of course, still rumored to be involved in negotiations of either staying in New Jersey or moving to Nashville. Nashville's got an offer on the table, and the Sports Authority announced yesterday at the Meadowlands in New Jersey they also have put an offer on the table for the Devils to try and sweeten the deal there to keep them there. Cleared ahead Chambers, couldn't get it. Dineen batted it up in the air over the glass and into the seats. 4:14 left to go, second period. New Jersey Devils up by 2.
All right, Flyers.
Downtown Philadelphia, look at City Hall. William Penn on the top. Al Morganti knows the rule used to be you couldn't build a building in Philadelphia taller than the cap of William Penn. They did away with that. Nell's very happy because he said, now we finally have a skyline in Philadelphia.
I thought you were going to say William Penn on top and Al Morganti right beside him. Let's go to Al.
He'd be there if he could. Flyer fans trying to get the Flyers going here, down by 2. On the face-off, won by Bobby Carpenter, then chipped away, and the Flyers get it back. Desjardins. The shots are 14-13 in favor of the Flyers. Hardly any here in the second period. Once the Devils got that 2-goal lead, they've gone right to that cocoon, just shut the game down. Our Pringles storyline here in Philadelphia tonight is to take a look at John McLean of the Devils. McKay and Broten, a goal and an assist each. Lindros 1-1 as well on the power plays. Devils red hot 3 for 3. Philadelphia 1 for 3.
Our Pringles replay is one of the physical shots in this game, and there have been a lot of them, both in Game 1 and here in Game 2. Billy Guerin on Chris Therien. Guerin can pretty well do it all. He has elevated his game, and now he is one of the top power forwards in the game. 2 goals in Game 1, and you can see that he contributes in more than just on the scoreboard.
That's a player the Devils are waiting to explode. Shot deflected out deep by McLean. Billy Guerin's got some scoring power. McLean fakes on Desjardins. All the way around, got a pick. No penalty on it. Back to the point. Stephens shot, gloved down by Hextall. Todd Chorsky leveled Desjardins.
And I think he was pushed into him. Dykhouse was trying to ride him off, and he rode him right into Desjardins.
Perfect pick setup ultimately for McLean, who was coming around behind him. Came back for Stephens. Stephens pushed it up along the boards a little deeper. Desjardins reversing wide side for Dykhouse. 3:15 left here, second period. Devils up 4-2. Here's Richer with Lemieux. Richer. Deflected save made by Hextall. Stephens holds it in, and he leveled LeClaire. Back in the middle. Richer. Wide side for Daneyko. Ken Daneyko, the defenseman, sends it in and scores! Kenny Daneyko with a blistering rip shot. He couldn't find anyone to pass to. Look at the Devils laugh. Kenny Daneyko never scores goals, and he blisters one by Hextall, and it's 5-2 Devils.
And has this crowd fallen silent? Not a peep. Ron Hextall had that, it looked like, go through the 5-hole between his pads. And I'm not sure if he was screened on the play. It didn't appear to be, but you can't imagine that Kenny Daneyko could have wristed one between the pads of Ron Hextall from the blue line unless he was screened.
And the jinx that the Devils are to Ron Hextall continues. Hextall was pulled one time this past year. It was against the New Jersey Devils. He is about to be pulled again.
That's something. Yep, in that game he allowed 3 goals in the first 3 shots on the Devils, and that is the only other time that he has been pulled.
It was in Game 3 that these teams played during the regular season. And Ron Hextall is coming out. He has given up 5 goals on 16 shots. And Dominic Roussel, his first ever playoff game.
Boy, oh boy. Tell you something else about that time Ron Hextall was pulled during the season. It marked, after 33 games, the first time the New Jersey Devils, after 8 attempts, got their record to over 500. The Devils did not tear it up by any means in the regular season. They struggled to be 500. Remember, there were only 48 games in the regular season, and it took the Devils 33 games to get above 500, and that was the other game that Ron Hextall was pulled from.
The team that scored 4 goals in Game 1 already has 5 goals in Game 2, doubling their regular season output. And the Devils have a 5-2 lead against the Flyers. Dominic Roussel appeared in 19 games during the regular season. He ended up with an 11-7 mark at a very respectable .914 save percentage and a .234 goals against.
And Garrett, that goal started with the Flyers again getting stopped, trying to get the puck even out of their zone. They have stopped following the coach's instruction, and they're going back into the mode of Game 1, and that is going right into the trap.
And Bill, how many times did Terry Murray say to us, as you can imagine how many times he told the team, you've got to be patient and stay in the game plan. You must stay with the game plan, and they've not done it. And every time they haven't, the Devils, as they did in Game 1, have converted it into a goal. Giskevich wide open. Brodeur makes the save. Ken Daneyko's goal, 17:02, only his 4th ever in playoff history, and the first one he's had this year was from Richer and Lemieux. And we're going to get a penalty here. An elbowing call. Minute 47 left to go. More frustration, maybe. A penalty on Brendamore.
I think it might be on Yuskevich. He stepped up and elbowed Mike Peluso, and Peluso was trying to get to the center line.
Our Dodge intermission report, just a minute 47 away. Mike and Barry's analysis of this game. Tony Amati, a goal that he's near reaching, and that Red Wing defense so improved. All coming up during our Dodge intermission report. How about the end of that game yesterday? Mike Vernon. Half a second left.
Well, let's take a look at that goal that has made it 5-2. That last one from Ken Daneyko. He moved to the side. Looked like Ron Hextall saw it all the way. It may have had a bit of a curve on it. It looked like it was end over end, but that appeared to be an unscreened wrist shot from the point that beat him.
Brought up by Niedermeyer. He sends it in. If you missed it yesterday, you'll want to find the film clip. You'll see it 1,000 times. The end of that game in Detroit, where Mike Vernon started celebrating before the game was over, and with half a second left, the shot went by him and hit the pipe. It was a 1-goal differential. McLean shot. Blocked out deep. Down goes Kevin Haller. Haller's hurting. Centering pass. Banked away by Desjardins into the seats.
Good play by Desjardins. And not only to get the puck out of harm's way, but Kevin Haller was really on the limp. He's heading to the bench now. Well, now he's taking a left turn. He's coming around again.
Around the far post. There's Kenny Daneyko getting his first goal from Richer and Lemieux at 17:02. 4 goals on the last 9 shots. That brought in Dominic Roussel and took Ron Hextall out of there. First ever playoff appearance for Dominic Roussel.
Well, he didn't have a whole lot of time to get nervous, did he?
Nope. No warm-up. Just step in there and try not to give up another one here to hold it at least at 5-2 to get you to the 3rd period. Devils power play, though. Shot. Dominic Roussel the save with Lemieux out in front. Niedermeyer had the shot from the point.
And Dominic Roussel's complaining about something. Claude Lemieux was in front trying to screen, and Roussel at least wants to be able to see it. Had to be complaining about Claude Lemieux, who was in there. Claude Lemieux threw his arms out saying, I didn't do anything, I didn't do anything.
Off the face-off again. Neal Broten moves in to take it against Brendamore. Devils want it back. Lemieux to the point. Niedermeyer. Great drop pass here. Shot blocked on Lemieux. Lemieux able to hold it in the corner, though. The Devils power play struggled so mightily all season long. I've asked Devils people, what happened? People who watched this team all year said inexplicable. They didn't change anything. They just made it work. They started moving the puck around, which they weren't doing during the regular season. In front, Lemieux couldn't get it. Batted away to center. Down to 40 seconds left to go in the period. More time than that on the power play. The Devils have a chance to finish this period with the advantage here. They've already picked up the power play goals on every opportunity they've had tonight. They'll have to go back out for the draw here in the offside.
You know, the other thing about the New Jersey Devils, Gary, I noticed it this morning. They're a far more relaxed team, especially with the media, than they were last year in the conference finals. Yeah, I guess it has something to do with the fact that they've been there once before, but also they're not playing against the New York Rangers, and that the whole New York pressure thing might have gotten to them. But this is a relaxed bunch of guys. They really seem to be at peace with the situation that they are in this season, and are tremendously relaxed when you approach them. If you have people around them with cameras, they just sit there smiling and chatting, and they wait to get the job done, too, for the media. They don't try to hide.
We talk about experience a lot in sports when you get to the playoffs and how much it means. That's what we're talking about. It does matter. but you've been there and gone through it. Devils still in the power play, whipping the puck around. Point shot, Chambers wide, right through a screen. Terrian picks it up, 7 seconds to go here in the period. Guerin stole it. Guerin wrap around him. Dominic Roussel, he blocked it. And Philadelphia very sloppy here in the waning moments of this second period as the Devils have clearly gotten under their skin again and frustrated them for only the second time this year. Dominic Roussel has come on to play for Ron Hextall. Both times pulled against the Devils, and Ken Daneyko had that goal that resulted in Hextall coming out of this one. The Devils lead 5-2 at the end of 2 periods of play, out shooting them 17-15. John?
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot. We certainly don't want to count the Philadelphia Flyers out, gentlemen, but they couldn't look any flatter at home.
Don't we? No, I mean, it's in tough. They're in tough shape right now. And what's really bothering me about this is that Lindros in this deal, after a good start, they get a late goal, he's on for it. They get an early goal in the second period, he's on for it, and you really didn't see him much in that second period. I think his inexperience is starting to show.
I think Philly did look like a beaten club that last 5 minutes. They didn't do anything. They weren't checking. They got to get back in that dressing room, and Terry Murray's got to do his Newt Rockney imitation. They got to come out and build something for the third period and build something to go on.
See, guys, the idea is we want people to watch the third period, so we don't count anybody out. 5-2 is the score after 2 periods of play. The third period is straight ahead, but right now it's time for the New Dodge Intermission Report. We'll look back at that second period. We'll also look ahead to more of Detroit and Chicago in just a moment.
Tonight's intermission report is presented by Dodge. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge.
Welcome back for more of the New Dodge Intermission Report. John Saunders, Mike Milbury, and Barry Melrose. And one of the problems for the Philadelphia Flyers, as we continue with that theme of not counting them out, though, is when you're down 5-2 to New Jersey, this is a team that's just not going to give you many chances.
They only got 6 shots in the second period, Philadelphia. And there's a good reason for it. It's because New Jersey just won't forecheck unless they're absolutely sure. Look at this, all in the neutral zone. You don't even see a New Jersey player. It's 5-on-5, and they just line back up at the blue line here in the neutral zone, and you'll have plenty of room, but there's nowhere to go once you head across the red line. There's the attack by Breland. Philadelphia will regroup. They'll try it again. Well, where's New Jersey again? They're still lined up back somewhere around the red line. They're being extra ultra cautious here, making sure they don't give the Devils or the Flyers any opportunity whatsoever, and they just look for a break themselves. You can't get any flow to your game. You can't get establish any real pressure. You can only dump and chase and hope for a lucky goal.
Jersey's probably going to win the series, but we got to find a way to make the game more exciting and create hitting and create offense, and somehow we got to take that away where you just go to center and dump it in and they hold you up.
Odd man rushes make a difference, and it's how you execute. And in this one, New Jersey executes well. Philadelphia does not.
Yeah, right here is an example. You'll see a great play here. Lindros comes in on a shorthanded situation, right in, and you see his reach and his skill there. Comes off, picks it right out of his pocket. Now 2-on-1. Now Driver's job is to make him shoot it or intercept the pass, and he does a great job here. He tricks him a little bit with keeping his stick back. Now watch the transition game we've been talking about all week with these guys. Now it's a 3-on-1 the other way. Trap the one defenseman standing up a little bit flat-footed. Now you saw how Driver played it so well. The Philly defenseman doesn't play it well, and it's a goal the other way. That was a turning point in the period. It could have been 3-2 Flyers. It's 3-2 Jersey, and it hasn't been close since.
You know, I think they really missed Peters for Brodeur here tonight. They're playing Terrian a lot, and he had a tough game in Game 1. Again tonight, he's been burnt a couple of times. So the Flyers' defense is really starting to be tweaked a little bit.
And this is a defense that looks so good against the New York Rangers as well, but they are down 5-2 right now. Stick around. When we come back, we'll look west. Detroit and Chicago. Chicago down 2-0. One of the reasons they've turned up the clamps on defense. Have the Wings. Back in a moment. Welcome back for more of the New Dodge Intermission Report. Let's look to the Western Conference final between Detroit and Chicago. Almost a bit of a strange play at the end for Mike Vernon. Almost some goat horns for him.
He didn't admit it today, but this guy had just about, well, he thought he heard the fat lady sing, and he was on his way to the Lindell AC for a beer when this happened. Look at the shot here by Amonte, and it hits the post. And Coffey goes right over, and boy, that was a close call. Watch him. Takes a look up at the scoreboard, just taking it easy on the way out of town. Whoops, I better try to stop that one. That could have been the biggest guffaw since 1986 and Steve Smith, but he got away with it that time. He can laugh about it.
1986, Steve Smith and Bill Buckner of the Boston Red Sox in the same year.
Oh, don't bring that up. Too much.
All right, you know, just trying to remind people where you're from. But in any event, Detroit, you talk about their offense and how good they are offensively, but Chicago comes in, plays them tight defensively, and Detroit says, hey, we can play this style as well.
Well, one of the things that everyone's been mentioning, all the papers been talking about, is this neutral zone trap of jerseys. Detroit has their own, and it's a left-wing lock situation, where the left wing is always accountable for defense. And you'll see it here. 2 Detroit players are down deep. Coffey's a defenseman. He sees that situation. He pulls out immediately when he sees this situation happening. Now, the minute Chicago gets complete possession of the puck, the left winger pulls back in a defensive posture, and his job is to pick up the back door of the ice. That's his area right there. He's got to make sure no one comes behind Coffey and his partner to get in the opening there. He's there, he sees him, and now he protects the 2 defensemen, taking the forechecker wide so that that forechecker can't go in and get on Coffey's back and make him make a bad pass. Then, as soon as Coffey gets it, bang, he jumps through the middle to give Coffey another out. And it's a system that the Czech national team used for years in the 70s. Detroit's using it now very well. What I like about this system as opposed to trap, it still lets 2 men forecheck with the onus being on the 3rd guy, which is left winger high.
Yeah, I mean, they could use any system because they haven't used any system over the last couple of years. They figured it out that defense was going to help them win a championship, and this system seems to work for him.
Yeah, Scotty Bowman got the guys to buy into this, and while we were bugging you about Bill Buckner, somebody was telling me and reminding me about a certain stick measurement a couple of years ago. Does that fit in there?
I forgot about that.
You've been trying to forget about it.
That's right.
All right.
I think it's regression.
Marty McSorley's on the phone. We'll get in a moment. All right, we'll continue with more in just a moment. When we come back, we'll check the baseball scores. But first, to remind you that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, it's the Red Wings and the Blackhawks. Chicago trying to avoid going down 3-0. They were down 2-0 to Toronto after losing the first 2 at home. They won that series. And also on Wednesday night, 7:30 Eastern Time, the Flyers and the Devils, Game 3 of that series.
ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by the all-new Chevy Cavalier. It's all you need, and it's genuine Chevrolet.
Back here at a very quiet Spectrum in Philadelphia, where the New Jersey Devils, who only 6 times during the regular season scored either 5 or 6 goals, they have a 5-2 lead in this game, and they have driven Ron Hextall out of the net. Take a look at these comparison numbers.
You know, you expect the Devils to keep the score down when you're against them. You just don't expect them to score this much. Hextall's record, the first couple of series, 8-1 with terrific numbers. In this one so far, and this is through his just about 2 periods, 5.57 goals against, save percentage 7.95. And in game 1, Ron Hextall made some terrific saves. He had some things work against him. Randy McKay cut in on him. Hextall actually hooked the puck into his own net. Perhaps that was an omen of what was to come for Ron Hextall, because tonight things have gone from bad to worse. Ron Hextall went down and lost his footing. Once he did, he was out of the play. Another time, Ron Hextall ended up down, top of the net. Bobby Holik found it. Martin Brodeur at the other end, yeah, he stopped some little ones. He makes just about every save look easy, even the tough ones. It's very difficult to gauge the degree of difficulty on the saves because Martin Brodeur makes all of them look easy.
A 9.52 save percentage, which is just an amazing number coming into this game. He has given up 2 goals, but that came early. And Dominic Roussel will stay in net. Ron Hextall, who came out after that last goal that was scored by Ken Daneyko, will stay on the bench. And Roussel will get the playing time here. Cleared ahead by Desjardins, intercepted by Bobby Carpenter. Desjardins gets it back. And a whistle and an offside call on Philadelphia. Underway here in the 3rd period, the Devils with a chance to extend their lead in the conference finals. 2 games to none if they hang on and win it.
After game 1, Terry Murray said, you know, we didn't complete 3 consecutive passes the whole game. We've been tracking this. Look at this. The Flyers have had 126 puck possessions tonight. They have completed 1 pass or none 99 times, and that includes a power play in the 1st period where they got the majority. of those completions, up over 1. 99 times out of 126 possessions, they were only able to complete 1 pass or none.
Running it right into the trap and losing control of the puck. That's what the Devils have done to him since that first period. Taken by Broten back in his own end, up for Richer. Richer drops it to Broten. Richer got leveled by Lindros after he passed it off. Kevin Haller drops it off. The one thing, though, the Flyers can't do is give the New Jersey Devils any more power play opportunities in this game. The Devils are 3 for 4 on the power play in the game. Right now at the top of the pile among playoff teams in the power play in light of what they've done here tonight. Scott Stevens clears it back out. Desjardins comes back to get it. The Jersey Devils, what a road team they are proving to be in the playoffs. Lindros couldn't get all of that one. Brodeur couldn't get it away. Centering pass comes back up to the point, carrying the shot, saved by Brodeur. Deneen right there on the doorstep, but no rebound. Lindros took a swipe at Stevens as he went by. Stevens couldn't get to Lindros, who skated away. Want to remind you, our coverage of Major League Baseball on ESPN Wednesday night will be coming up after hockey. 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. The New York Mets on the West Coast. They won today. They'll take on the San Francisco Giants again. San Francisco had won 3 straight, 8 of their last 10 prior to their loss today. That's Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, Wednesday night. Scott Stevens had the eye out for Lindros.
Well, he's had the eye out for him in every shift. I mean, the ability of Jacques Lemaire to get Stevens on against Eric Lindros has been something to behold. Terry Murray has not tried to keep Lindros away from him, and when you've got a player that's as dominant as Eric Lindros is when he's on top of his game, you've got to let him try to play through it.
Gilbert Dion, shot save, rebound Uline, shot save. Patrick Uline, a turnaround shot, and Brodeur denying both chances. Martin Brodeur giving up 2 in this game, almost double what he's given up in this playoff year as he came in with that incredible 1.22 goals against, obviously number 1 in both goals against and save percentage, and then the playoff goaltenders. Right back up, Anatoly Semenov taken out of the play.
There's plays like that that tell you the Flyers have brain locks. Semenov had Antosky going on the far wing. If he gets it cross corner in deep, they maybe get a scoring chance. Semenov just walked right into it and coughed it up at the blue line.
Running right into a couple of Devils waiting for him there. Dykhouse goes back to get it. His pass blocked by Zelepukin. Picked up Anatoly Semenov. Just got that one out to Antosky. Antosky. Gilbert Dion out there with him. Antosky gets leveled. No call on Billy Guerin. Guerin got the stick in the middle. I think the official Andy Van Helmont thought that may have been a little bit of a flop. He was standing right there watching it. Off the boards. Antosky trying to get it out. Can't. Dex Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer gets back out. Goes out to Dykhouse. He got it up to Antosky to Semenov. Both teams changing it up at the fly here. Zettler sends it in. Brent Fedek, of course, the 4th line center, out for the remainder of the playoffs, however long or short that may be, with a vertebrae fracture, has not appeared against the Devils. And Peter Swoboda, the rushing defenseman, out for this game, may be back for the next one. He's got a strain in the shoulder. Devils are not missing anyone as a result of injury. Played back in behind the net by Desjardins. Desjardins leaves it for Kevin Haller. Haller looking for that long one. Got it over to Renberg. Renberg moving in. Lindros in front. Couldn't get the return pass. Went right behind him. John McLean just clears it out of the zone. Desjardins again back for Kevin Haller. The defensemen who had done so much offensively for Philadelphia in the playoffs have not been able to do anything against the Devils. That contribution is really missing right now. Good Stevens check on Desjardins on the far side. Devils trying to loosen it up. Can't, rolled in front. Backhand shot. Renberg hit the pile. Everybody was down in front of Brodeur and lost his stick. 3-on-2 break the other way. Trusky over to McLean. Devils are changing. So McLean ends up going in alone. Gets stood up by Kevin Haller. Desjardins comes over to get it. Folks are throwing things out on the ice here. You see a couple of green cups the players are going by. Lindros shot. That one was wide on the short side. Rebound all the way back to Yuskevich. Yuskevich back at his own blue line. Devils completing a line change here. Therrien pokes it ahead for Lindros. Intercepted. Sent up and out by Driver. That'll be played by Dominic Roussel. Therrien takes it back in behind the net. Off the boards to center. There it is again.
There's one of those no pass completions on the first possession.
Just got it out of the zone and did nothing with it. Chambers up for Richer. Richer batted away Brendamore. Brodeur plays that one up himself. Could be an icing call here, and there will be one on the touch by Therrien. Devils up, third period, 5-2.
Scott Stevens did not have a good first half of a hockey season. He started to come on the second half, and man, oh man, as he got it revved up now in the playoffs. He has been the tower of power on the blue line, and you got to be powerful to play against Eric Lindros. Game 1 of 18 shifts that Eric Lindros took at even strength, 17 times Stevens was out there against him. Tonight, 14 of 14. Stevens out against Lindros at even strength.
Stevens has played in 13 consecutive playoff seasons. He and Bobby Carpenter both have that number, but a lot of those with different teams, including the Washington Capitals in the case of Scott Stevens. And there are the numbers for tonight.
Now, the Lindros line has produced both Flyers goals, but that points to second and third lines. I mean, Eric Lindros obviously needs some help scoring, but the New Jersey Devils have shut down second line so effectively in the playoffs. Basically, nobody scored against them in the Boston series. In the Pittsburgh series, the Tomas Sandstrom, Luc Robitaille line got 1 goal, no assists for 1 point. And Rod Brindamour's line, who had 24 points coming into this series, none so far.
Point shot deflected wide on Yushkevich's chance. And the Devils will flip it out of the zone. Gorski was giving chase. Therrien's got it. Banks it off Renberg. Picked up by McLean. Therrien back in his zone into Yushkevich. 15:30 left here. Third period. Devils up by a score of 5-2. A win will give them a 2-0 lead in this series. Brodeur all the way around the net for Ken Daneyko. Daneyko gets it up to John McLean. McLean out there with Chorsky, sends that one in wide.
When Martin Brodeur's in some pain, it looked like Eric Lindros chopped him on the back or the back of the shoulder when he was going around behind him.
He's flexing it in net. Renberg dumps it back in behind the net. No Devils. No Devil on the ice saw that. The play was already turned up ice. Now he does it the other way, and he's going to get a penalty. Penalty coming on Lindros against Stevens. Shot. Richer gets it back. Richer moving. Richer in. Shot. Roussel save. Rebound. Roussel. Another save on Neal Broten. The second time was one too many. He got Brodeur and got away with it, but Lindros went after Stevens and didn't.
Oh, the fans here are so frustrated because they want to see Eric Lindros just annihilate Scott Stevens. And if the Flyers get sidetracked, as they did in Game 1 with Scott Stevens, then all of a sudden the Devils are winning the battles and winning the war. Oh, Scott Stevens got a cut on that one, too, and it looks like Lindros has had that nose scar opened again that he received in Game 1. Watch this. Eric Lindros takes absolutely all of them, bends his back, finishes him off. Still don't know how he got cut. I'm not sure that that cut wasn't already there, unless he got the butt end of Lindros. Well, maybe it wasn't there. It looks like it's coming out. Maybe he got the butt end of Lindros' stick when he got ridden in.
You got a 5-2 lead. You can smile when the bleeding starts. Elbowing 5-10 on Lindros.
Remember I mentioned that Martin Brodeur also looked like he got a chop on the back. And that was earlier in the same shift. Look at Scott Stevens talking to the fans, looking up there, saying, hey, can you count? We got 5. There's a pileup. And that pileup was a couple of shifts ago. Lindros pushed Brodeur's stick out of the way. Watch this play, though. See the chop on the back of Brodeur's arm, and he started to wince in pain.
Here's the power play opportunity for the Devils. Already 3 for 4. Kevin Haller intercepted it. Brendamour cleared it out to McTavish. Dropped off the boards to Desjardins. Lindros out of there in the penalty box on the elbowing call. McTavish up ice on the short-handed chance. Devils have picked up the last 4 goals. McLean, Broten, Holik, and Daneyko have them. Randy McKay had the first one. Lindros and Renberg for Philadelphia. Philadelphia had a 1-0 and a 2-1 lead in the first period. The Devils now lead by 3. Chambers sends it in. Devils getting it set up here. Sergei Brylin. Brylin dumps it behind the net. Brylin, a rookie coming from the Soviet Union. Chambers, his shot. Tried to get it through the screen. Couldn't. Batted it down out of the air. Not with a high stick. Fans thought it was. Devils have 1:10 left on the power play. Chambers, driver, one-timer, tip, save, made Roussel. What a tip by Billy Guerin.
Wow, that's when you want to be a butterfly goalie. I mean, Roussel went down and took away low, and that's exactly where the deflection came.
Our Miller Light Ice League leaders in this Stanley Cup playoff year. You can see the drought. The Rangers got rid of it last year for them. Detroit's got a chance to do it this year. It's been 40 years. Chicago 34, Philadelphia 20. New Jersey has never won a Stanley Cup in their New Jersey history.
And if they do it, it's going to be based on balance, on 4 lines, on 6 defensemen. They've scored 5 goals. They have 11 different players who have picked up at least a point in this game.
Randy Andretti, our worthwhile statistician who knows all things. Devils may be wearing new jerseys next year. Huh?
Oh, I get it.
I mean, he was working on that over there. I mean, Brendamore dropped it in along the boards. Broten comes back to get it. Randy looks at me and says, yeah, it's the only time you ever give me credit when I come up with a bad joke. Broten at center gets knocked down. Picked up by Tommy Avalon. Left near side for Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer moving it in. Niedermeyer centered. Hit the back of the net. Philadelphia's picking up the hitting. Look for Andy Van Hellemond to start calling a few things here real quick. Because the Flyers look like they may have the elbows and sticks up. Down 5-2. Sent in around Dominic Roussel. Kevin Daneyko couldn't clear it out. McLean drops it back over to Tommy Avalon. Avalon cruising in. 19 on the power play. Philadelphia backing up. Look at the open area. Niedermeyer shot. Roussel the save. Knocked away from McKay and into the seats by Brendamore.
The Flyers don't appear to be still taking anybody in front of Dominic Roussel. They didn't in the early periods against the power play that the Devils put on the ice. They're letting people stand out in front, and it's kind of just a field day for deflections. Here's Rod Brind'Amour. He wants somebody on this one, but he missed him. Scott Niedermeyer saw him coming, and he put on the brakes. Neal Broten, in his quick 170 pounds, got away at most of this shot from Rod Brind'Amour. Mentioned the Devils have shut down second lines. It's got to be frustrating for Brind'Amour and Neal Broten playing a big man's game. He was supposed to be too small and maybe not quick enough when he came into this league in 1981 after the Olympics. But boy, oh boy, has he performed. You know, that trade with Dallas, and here are some of his numbers. The trade with Dallas wasn't much on the transaction page. It was kind of just a blip in the deals column. It was huge for the Devils. They needed a defensive center to complement Bobby Carpenter, and he has scored as well.
And a +18. That includes both regular season and playoff games being with the Devils. An amazing kind of leader. He's a veteran. Intercepted. Rittenberg wide. Power play is over now. Philadelphia back at full strength. Richer giving chase. He and Kevin Haller's got Lemieux in the middle. Tried to get it back to him. Desjardins stepped up and took it away. Kevin Haller will lead the rush. Haller moves in and a whistle on the offside call. 12:29 left to go. Third period on a frustrated Philadelphia team trailing by 3. The Legion of Doom, led by Eric Lindros, has garnered so much favorable attention. Great for the league and the team, but this is a very telling number. Look at this. During the regular season, they accounted for 53% of the goals. They're almost half off. The defensemen have picked it up 3 times in the playoffs, 3 times what they did in the regular season. But against the Devils, neither of them are able to do it. When your first line is down by that much in goal scoring in the playoffs, you've got a problem.
It may be a little misleading in the sense that it's difficult to run the score up on teams in the playoffs. I mean, they keep trying all the way to the end of the season. Very often, if it's gone, and you can pad some numbers, but still, you're right. And that, above all else, is the biggest reason the Flyers need some second and third line scoring that they haven't been able to pick up in this series yet. The Devils, boy, they're hard to play against. And Eric Lindros was on the bench a moment ago shaking his head like he's in the twilight zone. Like, what are we going to do to get this thing done?
They've gotten to him. They've really gotten to him.
Well, they've gotten him frustrated because he is, even at his young age, the leader of this team. And he takes it personally, and I'm sure he's confused amongst other things right now.
LeClair's shot was blocked. Korsky came over to get it. Renberg centering pass. LeClair had it batted away by Chambers. Renberg came in. Chambers got it back. LeClair poked it away. Lindros on the near side. Lindros tried to drop it back to the point. Never got there. McKay out for Chorsky. And it'll be sent in by Chorsky.
There comes Scott Stevens. Eric Lindros was out there for that faceoff without Stevens on the ice. As soon as the Devils get it over the red line and in, Scott Stevens comes on.
Right back out. And, of course, for game 3 and 4, as Chorsky took the hit from Yuskevich, but Yuskevich got the worst of it. In the next 2 games, the Devils will have the final change. They're going to be going home. They've been able to get what they've wanted for matchups here. So we'll have even more of it there. LeClair moves it. Lines up, blocked. Daneyko, broken stick. LeClair broke his stick at the shot. Back up to the point. Rob Zentler dumps it in for Lindros. There's Stevens right on him. Never got the handle to pass. LeClair without a stick can't do anything with it.
Still trying to play out there in the offensive zone without a stick. Now he's moved above the screen.
Dykhouse shot high as Daneyko went down to block it.
Believe that. John LeClair stayed out there for 30 seconds without a stick. I can at least screen.
Got out in front. There he is going to the bench.
Might have had trouble with the rebound.
Yeah. Would have been one of those kick-ins for sure if he got one in on that one. Near side for Renberg. Too far ahead. Niedermeyer picks it up. 5-2 Devils halfway through this third period. Sergei Breland. Breland ahead for Billy Guerin. Guerin moves it in. Guerin shut down by Carrion. Carrion looking, drops it off to Breland, just tipped by Brendamore. Sergei Breland hauled against the boards and down, and Dominic Roussel covers it up. Let's check in with John Saunders. John?
Well, guys, it's time now for the Dodge Finals fact in that series between the Red Wings and Chicago. As you know, Chris Draper got the game winner. First time all year Chicago had gone into the third period with a lead and lost.
The Detroit Red Wings leading that series 2-0 to none. The last times the names were imprinted that were Red Wings, 54 and 55. That's how it looks on the cup.
Kevin Dineen's dad's right in the middle.
Bill Dineen.
Bill Dineen.
Former coach here.
Yep.
Ted Lindsay in the lower right, Hall of Famer. John Antosky, and there's Dineen right there, the son, Kevin Dineen. 10:37 left here in the third period, waiting for the broken stick to be cleared off the ice. Devils have now outscored their opposition 40-16 in the playoffs this year.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that'll win you some games.
That's great.
That's why they're 9-2 and going for 10. In the corner, Zettler back up, Sean Antosky. Antosky pushed it by, will chase it down himself, batted at it, got it behind the net. Brendamore couldn't handle. All down over there by Niedermeyer. Took Brendamore down. Devils right back the other way. Olik, Caluso, McKay. McKay, the move, the shot, save Roussel. What a play by Randy McKay.
He is the second best one-on-one player, you know, on the Devils team. If you watch him practice, Billy Guerin's kind of the top guy, and McKay's right behind him and beating guys one-on-one.
He's having a big game here tonight. High coverage of the conference finals going after the Stanley Cup exclusively right here on ESPN. Continue tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The games shift to Chicago. Detroit and Chicago in that one. And Wednesday, we'll be back with the Devils and the Flyers. It shifts as well to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific for Game 3 between these two teams. Face-off coming to the left of Dominic Roussel. Roussel coming in for Hextall at the end of that second period. When the 5th goal was scored, Ken Daneyko got it. In front shot, hit Hextall in the mask. Mike Peluso. Roussel, rather, I'm sorry. Roussel in the mask, and he moves around. Looks like he's all right, but he did shake a couple of times. Get the cobwebs out in a hurry. Cleared around the boards. Antosky tied up by Tommy Avalon, picked up by Bobby Holik. Randy McKay. He drops it off. Devils changing. Chambers will just send it around the board. DeMaio over to get it. Rob DeMaio for Philadelphia from behind the net. Devils out shooting the Flyers 22-18 in this game. Tavish can't handle that one. Rolled right off the stick. Back in the zone. Sergei Breland didn't have a shot, so he just dumped it around softly to the near side. Poked away by Valeri Zalapukin and picked up and brought up by Dykhouse. Dykhouse gains the red line off Leclerc's stick. Leclerc back. Renberg shot. Save. Brodeur just held the line, and he'll pick up the rebound with the glove. Lindros and Daneyko. Renberg and Leclerc and Stevens. Not much.
Looks like they're talking a little bit. They are, Kenny Daneyko and Eric Lindros, but Lindros isn't saying very much back.
Kenny Daneyko will be talking about that goal he scored for the next 8 years without a day missed. Elmore Gandy.
Well, Gary, you know, so many nationalities here in the National Hockey League. There's Sean Podine. You take a first look at his name, the way it's spelled, and you figure, what country does this guy come from? Well, he comes from a country called Minnesota. They couldn't decide whether to name him Sean or John, kind of a family squabble. We end up with Sean.
Now, I understand that Wolfgang was one of the options in the name, too, and that it was kind of a three-way decision.
Sounds like the name for one of our dogs, actually. Roussel holds it up behind the net. Jammed around the boards for Leclerc. Leclerc dropping it off. Yuskevich got it out. Lindros back to it. Devils, though, 4 back. Renberg, McLean tipped back into the corner. Lindros hangs on to John McLean. Leclerc tipped it away. Boy, there is little fire, though, in the Flyers right now. Off the near side boards. Devils got them right where they want.
And the Devils aren't going to do anything to fire them up. We saw that sequence where Ken Daneyko was standing there talking to Eric Lindros. I guarantee you that he wasn't busting on him.
Nope.
I mean, you don't want to get them fired up. You got them where you want them. Just let them skate around into the trap.
And Daneyko, he said, you know, tough game. You guys got a tough game. You played hard, you know. Trying to put them a little bit further to sleep. Zettler on the near side. Zettler sends it up the boards. Intercepted Zelapukin. On the blue line, Lemieux. Lemieux able to bang it out of the zone. Zettler again having to come back in his own end to get it. Carrying up the wide side. Ulin taken away by Broten. Broten to Richer. Stephane Richer. All the way back for Driver. Driver around the boards for Chambers. 5-2 Devils on top. No scoring here in the third period. 7:40 left to go. The Devils looking to make it a 2-0 lead in this series, just as Detroit has in the West. Sent in by Dion. Around the net, Brodeur coming back to get it. A back-breaking goal in this game. John McLean's 1948 of the first period that tied it at 2-2 on a power play. Philadelphia never recovered from that. The Devils took off from that when they came back out in the second period. Bobby Holik just banged it high off the glass. Centering pass knocked away by McKay. Chambers. Semenoff knocks it down. Couldn't control it. Peluso picks it up. Looking for room. Bobby Holik. Crash line out there for the Devils. Up for McKay. McKay moving in. McKay spins around. Trying to set it up himself. Got turned around there by Kevin Haller. Both teams trying to complete changes here. Chase down in the corner. Holik lost it to Desjardins. And Desjardins will start it up ice. Saves it back for Kevin Haller. The passes Philadelphia can connect on are ones that go back into their own end. Devils just regroup at center each time. Near side, Billy Guerin. Guerin. A little room. Dineen moved over on him. Brendamore will pick it up for Dineen. Partially blocked. Dineen came back to get it. Off to Brendamore. Back into the zone. They have to start by going backwards. Brendamore drops it ahead. Antosky moving in on Tommy Avalon. Shot right through the crease. Just didn't have an angle on that. Dykhuis's shot knocked down in front. Dykhuis trying to hold it in. Could not. Got Niedermeyer blocking that first chance Dykhuis had from the point. And Yuskevich sends it in. All the way around near side. Niedermeyer. Pass intercepted Renberg. Niedermeyer got it back. Brendamore couldn't hold it in front. And Breland, with all the ice over there, sends it out. Devils change. Yuskevich comes right back the other way. Talk about young players. Scott Niedermeyer is only 21 years old. Forget because it seems though he's been around forever. But what a great star of the future can today.
Great skater, Gary, and he thinks the game so well. I mean, that's a really bright guy.
Bobby Carpenter, his shot was blocked out deep. Across the trailer, Renberg in, centered for Leclerc. His tip blocked by Stevens. Lindros picks it up in the corner. Lindros circling back up to the point. John McLean dumps it out. And here are the Devils. I don't know how many minutes have gone since the last whistle, but is this ever their game?
Well, how many minutes have passed without the Flyers generating a scoring chance?
Not even close. Brodeur gets caught up. Here's Richer the other way. Richer ridden off by Terry and went down. Puck comes near side, intercepted, backhand in front, wide by Richer. Richer got set up by Lemieux that time and just did not drive it home. He had Dominic Roussel to the wide side of the net. Daneyko back the other way. Devils change it up again.
Rob DeMaio had something going with Claude Lemieux, and he ended it with a real solid chop to the ankle that Andy Van Hellemond didn't see.
And finally a whistle on an icing call here with 4:36 left in the third. Fans head up for Broad Street. Stanley Cup. The Devils are liking the looks of that right now. And delighted to have you with us as the New Jersey Devils lead the Philadelphia Flyers 5-2 Game 2, our exclusive coverage of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals right here on ESPN. And of course, we'll carry you through the Stanley Cup Finals as well. Shot by Kevin Haller, deflected wide. Desjardins back to center. Here in the third period, we've got a grand total of 9 shots on goal. Devils had 5. Philadelphia's picked up 4. The Devils would probably consider that to be bad, but they gave up 4. Dion knocked away by Semenoff, picked up by Guerin. Dion again leaves it. Down the side comes Patrick Ulin. Nowhere to go. Freeland trying to hit Guerin. Guerin moving in. Guerin will circle and just dump it in behind. Devils virtually never give the puck up at their own blue line.
No, and when you do penetrate the zone, Gary, you're always wide. Like that last time with Yulin. They keep the play wide so well if you're able to get across the center line and penetrate their zone.
You're in that no man's land where you virtually have nothing to do with the puck but carry it around the board or shoot it around the board. Devils start back the other way. On the wide side, Niedermeyer dumped to Zelapuk, and he got hit by Dineen as he tried to get it over there that side. Skavich's pass intercepted. Devils right back. Tommy Avalon. Poke checked off the puck, or Bobby Holik, rather. Holik turned it in off the broken stick there. Dykhouse picks it up. Dykhouse left it for Yuskevich. Yuskevich from the blue line in, wide of Brodeur. No rebound. Brodeur's there to handle it with Dineen coming. Stops the clock with 3:13 remaining, and the Devils protecting that 3-goal lead here in the third. The beautiful city of Philadelphia. Not a lot to cheer about tonight. There it is, 5-2. Devils leading it. You see a lot of empty seats, and Ron Hextall has taken one of them on the end of the bench. He started this game, came out after the 5th goal. Only the 2nd time he'd ever been pulled.
And the Flyers wanted to generate some rebounds on Martin Brodeur. They said, we'll take low percentage shots for high percentage rebounds. The Devils have generated 8 scoring chances off rebounds. They've scored 2 goals off rebounds. Flyers have had 1 scoring chance off a rebound, and that was one of the goals. It was kind of a scramble in front. The second goal, the Lindros line scored. Michael Renberg got it.
Shot on Brodeur, deflected wide. Skavic shot from the right side. Brodeur going to stick on that. Here's Lemieux. Lemieux giving chase. Richer trailing here. Dykhouse got back on him. Good play by Dykhouse to knock it away. Brendamore will come over to pick it up. And the Devils giving up 2 in the first period and nothing since. Very few chances. Dykhouse will chase it back into his own end again. Down to 2:44 left to go, right into Roussel. Mercy. He's kept right on rolling to him. Dykhouse again sends it in off the corner. Tommy Avalon back there. Batted away by Brodeur. Out to center. Richer. Richer's got Lemieux. A pure 2-on-1. Richer and Lemieux moving in. Richer. Roussel the save. Richer the shot. Save. Lemieux tried to kick it in and missed. He got hit by Dineen. He just backs off. Moves away. Wouldn't have counted, but he tried it anyway. Kevin Haller trying to get it back to Lindros. Brodeur's there. Look how he left that right out in front. He didn't want to cover the puck, wanted the clock to keep going, so he just left it for Bobby Carpenter to put the stick in and move it away, and he did. Save off the blocker. Anatoly Semenov the chance. In the corner, McLean and Semenov do battle. Renberg poked it away to Semenov. Semenov gets it back. Semenov moving. Lindros with him. Didn't hit Lindros. Comes back to the point. Kevin Haller. Glove save made. Brodeur hangs on again. Our Visa storyline, game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Been all New Jersey Devils. Their road play has been just magnificent. And the power play equal to it. Hextall lifted at 17:02. The Devils 5 different goal scorers in this game in our Visa storyline.
Our Visa replay features more Devils attack. The big shot from Stephane Richer and 2 nice saves by Dominic Roussel on the first Richer shot and then on the rebound. Boy, Scott Stevens really got scraped up on that confrontation with Eric Lindros. Got the cut over the right eyebrow, and you can see that he's got a strawberry on the side of his cheekbone there. He got scuffed up pretty good.
And he's battled Eric Lindros. We'll try and get Scott Stevens after the game to join us and chat about this Devils performance here in these first 2 games. Only 1:40 left to go in it. Jersey Devils have done an incredible job in the playoffs. Against the Jaromir Jagr line in Pittsburgh, they held them to 6 goals on -10. Against the Boston line, Neal did all the work on 3 goals, a -10. And here against Philadelphia, the Legion of Doom line, a -1 here in this game tonight. Did contribute in the first period. Lindros picking up a goal. Renberg had a goal. But a -1 overall and nothing in the last 2 periods of play. They have shut down some of the big lines of hockey to this point in the toughest of situations. Daneyko takes it from behind the net. 1 minute left to go in regulation. Ken Daneyko, who has one of the goals in this game, back in his own end. Lindros and Renberg scoring for Philadelphia. Shot deflected by Brodeur off the glove. For the Devils, as we said, they've added goals by McKay, Stephane, Broten, Holik, and Ken Daneyko. McKay and Broten, a goal and an assist each. Lemieux and Richer, 2 assists. And for Philadelphia, Lindros, the only multiple point players, who's 1-1. Miscavich's shot was blocked out deep, and it rolls back out to center. 27 left on the clock here. Devastating game for Philadelphia after they came out flying again in the first period and had 2 leads. 1-0 and 2-1.
Gary, it's almost as if at this stage they've got a fragile confidence against this team.
Yep.
I mean, they were not able to recover from that late goal by John McClain. Mind you, the Devils came out and widened the margin, but the Flyers do not appear to be a very confident hockey team.
And the New Jersey Devils lead in the series 2-0, and Antosky gets the stick up late. Right at the Devils bench, somebody reached over.
Scott Stevens reached over. Scott Stevens reached over. Oh, look at the linesman. He's got pretty good headlock there on Sean Antosky. Yeah, Antosky laid a hit on one of the Devils along the boards, and when his back turned to the bench, Scott Stevens gave him a poke from behind. Wasn't much. He kind of just shoved him in the shoulder.
The frustration of the Philadelphia Flyers.
There's Stevens sitting there, trying to catch his breath, and there was Antosky with the big hit. John Chambers, the original hit. Look, Larry Robinson behind the bench got Scott Stevens. Look, Larry. He's holding Scott Stevens down, and big Larry had an armful there.
It'll be interesting to see what they call on that. Stevens reaching off the bench. That's a very bad play. There are suspensions that are given in some situations like that. There will be penalties picked up at the 20-minute mark of the third. Andy Van Hellemond will make that decision, but for this game, it's over. The Devils win it 5-2, lead the series 2-0.
All right, Gary and Bill, thanks a lot. And for Philadelphia, you know, it's bad enough to fall behind 2-0 and lose the first 2 at home, but it's how they lost these games that has to be of concern.
Tremendously demoralizing. I mean, when you just think a couple of days ago, this looked like a very even matchup. All of a sudden, it looks as one-sided as some of the previous series, Detroit, San Jose. I mean, they just can't get the puck to the net.
I thought the key, again, going back to first period, Philly's got a really good first period going. They're playing well. They're hitting. They're getting goals. They're getting chances. 8 seconds left. 2 guys try and poke the puck away for a cheap shorthanded goal. They keep it in. They score with 8 seconds left, and then it was just Jersey after that.
Yeah, they've got to find some way to steal a game now, going into the Spectrum, and whatever gimmick the coach comes up to, they've got to stick with it and see what happens.
Yeah, but this is a team we have talked about being young. You mentioned earlier a couple of weeks ago, they do have some experience, but is this a team that can go into New Jersey and win a couple of games?
You know, it might be easier to go into Jersey now. You've heard the Spectrum fans are booing a little bit. There's a lot of pressure on them at home with the home ice advantage. They go into Jersey now. They're not expected to win. The monkey's off their back. Jersey's been conceded the series by all the sports writers tomorrow. There'll be a loose team. Maybe they can go in and steal. They got to get something positive going. Good hits, good plays, get a good game of goaltending out of Hextall. You got to build in something positive and go in and steal a game.
And I think they really have a question now. Will it be Hextall or will it be Roussel? Because he really looked shaky, Hextall, after that first period.
Yeah, Hextall did struggle. 5-2 is the final. New Jersey gets the win. They now lead the series 2-0. Stick around. When we come back, we'll return to the Spectrum in Philadelphia. 5-2 final, 2-zip lead. New Jersey gets the victory over Philadelphia 5-2. They lead the series 2-0, and a lot is made of the defensive scheme of New Jersey, but they really do have some players who offensively can get you 5 goals.
Yeah, it seems as if they've been given this role of being strictly a defensive team. You look down the lineup, there's Lemieux, a 30-goal scorer. You got Richer, who's got 50 a couple of times, McClain, Holik, Broten, and tonight it was Randy McKay, a guy who's scored about 17, 18 goals in his career in a given year. Watch this, just simply going to the net on a pass from Richer. Little question as to whether he was in the crease or not. The goal stood. That's where McKay will get a lot of them. He doesn't get a lot of them like this, but that's a heck of a backhand move. He's got a lot more talent, and New Jersey as a whole has a lot more talent than people give him credit for.
Still, when you watch this team play, and especially when they get the lead, and you illustrated it earlier, we're not seeing a lot of offense. We're seeing that neutral zone trap, and it's not that enjoyable to watch, but break it down a little bit.
Well, it's a system that forces you to go one side of the ice. They don't forecheck. with any amount of people. Most teams forecheck with 2 men trying to make you make a mistake. The trap just waits for you at center ice. Mike's illustration in between period with the Where's New Jersey was perfect. You didn't see anyone until center ice. And I'm a proponent. We got to change the game. We got to make it more exciting, and you do that by forechecking. Basketball did it a few years ago with illegally not allowing zone defenses. Basically, the trap is a zone defense in hockey, where 5 guys wait for you in a certain area and force you to do something with it. And Jersey, yes, they've done it great. You got to give Jacques Lemaire credit. They're a great team, and they got a great chance to win the Stanley Cup. But it's not exciting for me, and I love hockey, and I love what they're doing. You got to respect them, but it's not an exciting style of hockey. And with people going to Nashville now being mentioned in the South, we got to get these Southern people loving hockey and getting them excited about it and getting them in our buildings.
Making a sow's ear out of a silk purse, I guess.
No, but do you agree with him?
I agree 100% that's, you know, if you could somehow get this to be just a man-to-man game, it would open it up. But to see those guys just backed right to the red line before they make any attempt to put any pressure on, it spoils a lot of the enjoyment of the game.
See, what we got, that the hockey has, it's such a beautiful sport, and we got skilled guys that are brave and courageous. You got a physical sport with beauty. You want to see Bury going end-to-end, and like Mike said, you want a one-on-one situation. Nothing's more exciting than Bury and a defenseman one-on-one, where Bury tries to beat him, defenseman plays. But Bury trying to beat 3 guys, or Steve Yzerman trying to beat 3 guys, or Gretzky trying to beat 3 guys, it's just not fun to watch, and we're seeing that now, and we got to get back to that exciting physical. We all love hitting, we all love those things, but we got to get back to that somehow.
Yeah, you have to be a technical freak to really get involved in this game.
One more quick question about this, though. If New Jersey is successful, wins the Cup, will we see more teams playing this style, too? Is that a fear?
We've seen that now. I think with Roger Nielsen going to Florida. Roger is the guy that started all this, and you got to give him credit. He's a very smart coach and a really smart tactician. And he started all this. Florida goes expansion. They almost make the playoffs. Tampa uses it a lot. The Ducks use it a lot. You've got Jersey doing it better than anybody else. They have a chance of winning the Stanley Cup. So now you'll see more and more teams doing it. And if you can't beat them, join them situation.
The question I have in all this, is it really necessary? I mean, I think they could play a different style, a more enjoyable style, a more exciting, wide-open style, and still be effective and give the guys in the seats a better bang for their buck.
Yeah, they've shown it at times. In the 5-2 victory at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, New Jersey now leading the series over the Flyers 2-0. Right now, let's return to the Spectrum and Gary and Bill. Gentlemen.
John, thanks very much, and it was a mighty impressive performance again. I mean, this is 2 games now where the New Jersey Devils have taken it to the Philadelphia Flyers. Once right from the start, this one, second period on.
It almost seemed like the dominance of the Devils in Game 1 is what kind of contributed to the Flyers' confidence lacking right now, because the Flyers seem to be a confident team. And as soon as they faced a little bit of adversity in this game, they seemed to tighten up. They started going back into the trap, and they stopped making the decisions that they made in the first period. So combination of the Devils never straying from their game plan, and the Flyers a little fragile in their confidence level. Could be a quick series for the Devils.
Could very well be, and the much talked about matchup, Stevens, Lindros, has started a long time ago, has continued.
Yeah, during the regular season, I mean, Eric Lindros wanted to try and establish something even in 1993. Bobby Carpenter ran over in this particular game, and the feud between Scott Stevens and Eric Lindros went back to that year. They even dropped the gloves and got into it. Not much has changed from 1993 to 1995. Scott Stevens and Eric Lindros still staring each other down, but the difference is neither guy wants to drop his gloves. Eric Lindros has got a damaged eye, and Scott Stevens doesn't want to damage his team. But tonight, Eric Lindros rode Scott Stevens off and inflicted a little bit of damage on Scott Stevens over the right eyebrow and on the right cheek. But Scott Stevens right now is saying, I'll take about 10 of those all over my face for a 2-0 lead in this series.
Amazing stuff. New Jersey Devils have won their 10th playoff game now. They are 10-2 in the playoffs, have outscored the opposition in the playoffs 40-16, and are apparently a better team on the road than they are at home.
Yeah, the Flyers' only hope is that the Devils will not play quite as disciplined a system, and the Flyers can get some bounces and breaks through that trap in New Jersey. But when the Devils, on the road, here in Philadelphia, have the lead in the third period, both in games 1 and 2, and allow a total of 11 shots, that's 11 shots, 6 in game 1, 5 in game 2, and a lot of those shots weren't even classified as scoring chances. Big bicep. They got the big muscle going right now.
Got the money on the muscle, New Jersey Devils right now. One of the people we want to talk to, because he scored a goal, folks, is Ken Daneyko. He doesn't get many. He'd love to have his name on that cup. Kenny's going to be our guest. He'll talk about his goal when we come back. The Jersey Devils win it by a score of 5-2. We were joking about Kenny Daneyko. He and Bruce Driver have played in all 77 playoff games in the history of the Devils. Elmore Gandy's with Kenny right now.
Well, Ken Daneyko, playoff goal tonight. Your team playing like a machine, and you've become a machine here, a scoring machine tonight, I guess. But you guys are hitting on all cylinders right now.
No, we're getting contributions from everybody out there, and that's the key. I mean, from the Mike Pelusos to the Randy McKays, the Bill Guerins, we're getting it from everywhere, and that's what you have to win in the playoffs.
Everybody talks about a trap, but you scored a few goals here. Everybody thinks, oh, the Devils, they get 1-0 lead, they're going to win 3-1 like that. But got some offense.
Personally, I really don't exactly know what the trap is, because I just go out there and do the same thing every time. I don't really hear it much in our dressing room, but we play very tight defensively. We got guys that are very disciplined, and when we get our opportunities, he wants us to go all offense, and we've got contributions from everybody offensively, so it's working.
We'll take a look now at some rare footage, I guess. Your goal here tonight to put you ahead in the game and lock it up. You want to go over this?
Well, I got the pass from Stephane Richer and just shot the puck. Took a couple steps and shot it toward the net, and fortunately enough, it went in. I see a lot of guys over the years get a lot of lucky goals, and I can't buy one, but I'll take it anytime I can get one.
You feel completely confident now? I mean, to go to your place now, up 2-0 in this series that a lot of people thought was going to be a real war early. You feel like you're a very, very confident team able to knock this down quick?
Well, we're playing with great confidence right now, but we're the type of team that stayed focused throughout the playoffs. We bring our lunch pails and we go about business as usual. We've taken nothing for granted, and that's what we have to do. We're up 2-0, but it means nothing. I've seen our team go down 2-0 last year in the Bruins series and go back into Boston and win 2 straight and coincidentally win the series 4-2. So we're taking nothing for granted, but we are rolling on all cylinders, no question. Congratulations,
and celebrate the goal, and we'll see you up in the Meadowlands.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks a lot. Gary?
There you see the bench celebrating. Look at them laughing. That was after Kenny scored his 4th career playoff goal. Couldn't have it to a nicer guy. Back to you, John.
All right, guys, and the specialty on the shot is getting the puck to roll like that somehow. Somehow, let's talk about the series that resumes tomorrow between the Wings and the Blackhawks. In this one, Detroit has got scoring from a lot of different places. Right?
Well, I think if you look in the past for Detroit, if Yzerman didn't score, if Fedorov didn't score, if Cicerelli didn't score, they didn't win. But now they're getting, just like Jersey, they're getting goals from key people. They're fourth-line guys. McCarty has scored big goals for them. Draper gets the winner last night. That's what they've become. I really like what Scotty did at the deadline and earlier in the year, getting key role-type players instead of just stars.
I think, on the other hand, Detroit, if they didn't learn a lesson with this Vernon thing yesterday, this thing's not over till it's over. Those are 2 very tight games. They can expect a 3rd tight game. And don't take anything for granted, boys, because it's still a long way to get to the Stanley Cup.
The first game went to overtime, and the second game may as well have been overtime, winning it in the 3rd period, coming back. So thanks a lot, gentlemen. We'll see you again tomorrow night. We want to remind you that we have that game at 8 o'clock Eastern time. The Red Wings looking to take a commanding 3-0 lead over the Chicago Blackhawks. It's our exclusive coverage of the West Finals, game number 3. And then on Wednesday, we're back in the East again, the Flyers and the Devils. Can Philadelphia somehow manage to get it going on the road at the Meadowlands? 7:30 Eastern time, we'll have that. Baseball tonight is up next. Eric Lindros hosts the Plays of the Week. That's up with Chris Berman and Peter Gammons. Thanks a lot. For Mike and the other guy, Barry, I'm John. Good night.
He's the other guy.
Easiest shots for a goalie to save are the shots that never come, and those are the ones Martin Brodeur is thankful for. His performance notwithstanding, the Flyers' Legion of Doom line, which had 7 goals in the series against the Rangers, had just 5 shots in Game 1 against the Devils. Brodeur with a 1.23 goals against. Tremendous playoffs for him. Game 2, your puck movement. Eric Desjardins, Kevin Dineen, cross ice to Lindros. He snaps it in. 1-0 Flyers. Brodeur is beat. 2-1 Flyers. Devils power play. Claude Lemieux shoots. John McClain deflects it right on the edge of the crease, but he's not in. That's legal. 2-2 tie. We go to the second period. Another power play for the Devils. Lindros, mid-ice thievery, passes to Brind'Amour, deflected by Bruce Driver, and so we go the other way. Sean Chambers to Broten, back to Chambers, back to Broten. We have fast break hockey, 3-2 Devils. Still second period. Richer to Ken Daneyko. Long range beats Hextall. It's 5-2. That would be it for Hextall. Dominic Roussel comes in, and the Flyers even get beat up by guys who are not in the game. Scott Stevens hits Sean Antosky. We have a melee at Donnybrook. Cats and dogs living together. Devils win 5-2. They lead the series 2-0. Both wins on Flyer ice. New Jersey's defense again stifling. Just 18 saves for Brodeur in this game. Just 20 for him in Game 1. Brodeur's goals against for the playoffs now a blistering 1.29. Coming up on Tuesday on ESPN, the Western Conference plays another edition of Can You Top This in their half of the playoffs, coming off of 2 straight 1-goal games, and the biggest octopus you will ever see in a hockey arena Game 3, 8 Eastern, Tuesday, right here on ESPN.